Hello. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. बहुत ही स्पेशल डे हाँ ब्रेकिंग न्यूज फॉर पीपल हु डोंट नो हु आर लिविंग अंडर रॉक इट इज चेल्सी अगेंस्ट रियल मैड्रिड होने वाला था एल क्लासिको प्रीव्यू लेकिन आई थिंक इट हैज बेसिकली अपस्टेज दैट इज यू विल अग्री सादिक भाई कम ऑन इट विल नॉट बी काइंड ऑफ सो बैड इट डजंट हैपन एज अ चेल्सी फैन आई नो फ्रॉम लास्ट 2 decades एवरी टाइम ड्रॉ होता था आई वाज लाइक रियल मैड्रिड चाहिए ऐसा हुआ कि लास्ट 2 साल में रियल मैड्रिड मिल गई फाइनली बट टॉकिंग अबाउट रियल मैड्रिड I have a very special guest. First time on Almighty Blues FC. That's Dhenuka from Bombay-Penia. Dhenuka, welcome to Almighty Blues FC. Or first reactions on that draw.
Hi, thanks for having me on the channel. I did not want Chelsea, to be honest, for various reasons. But I also knew कि हमको we won't luck out with like Benfica or I don't know. It was just a feeling. So I kind of had that in my head कि हमको मिलेगा शायद Chelsea या Liverpool and maybe Atletico. But so Chelsea it is. And बहुत interesting fixture होगा obviously because this time around I think that Madrid भी टक्कर देने के लिए एक टीम ये टाइम बनी है as opposed to last year because हमारे injuries and we have two completely different managers, right? So last time it was under Zidane, so you got to see a different style of play. ये time Carlo है तो you will get to see a different style of play. So it's going to be and now we kind of have an idea of how Chelsea might play, like how Tuchel might play. So let's hope we've learned from our mistakes the last time around, and now that we have, I don't want to jinx things, but we look like we'll have a full team ready by then. So let's see how Carlo plays with his tactics and adjusting to.
And it's Carlo versus Chelsea. That's another subplot because I know Hazard, Tebow, and all that, and we'll come to details. But I think talking about details, person who knows this stuff end to end, always Sadiq bhai back in the house. Yes, हमने कल discuss किया था, but again that was different. As in more that we were in. Are we back to football? Sadiq bhai, Barcelona against Real Madrid is huge always. लेकिन now even more so, team ready हो गई है finally. And you feel like okay, this is the challenge you're going to. Plus Frankfurt in the draw. So, what's your reaction? What is the thing that you're looking forward to most in the Europa League, especially?
Well, thank you first for calling me, Ankit bhai. I was there on the Europa League draw with the SLP. मैंने उधर भी यही कहा था कि I don't want Frankfurt. I don't want Frankfurt. If people who have seen them play, they are one of the toughest oppositions. They have beaten Bayern Munich 2-1 in one of the games, and they lost another one 1-0. They are known as a team that plays an offensive style, but they know very well when to just shut shop. In both those games against Bayern, they made it tough for them, and they barely had 27 and 29% possession. Yep. And if you see some of the defenders, they've got two of the best young centre backs in the world right now. One is a Brazilian called Tuta, and the other is Evan Ndika of France. Yeah. Along with that, they have a World Cup winner in Ernst Durm on their left back position.
Yeah, Eric Durm, he was in Dortmund, no? पहले Dortmund में था, if I remember right. Yeah, exactly. And, right. And Kostic is brilliant.
They also have Kostic is brilliant in the center of the park because now he's playing more centrally as compared to the left wing. And they also have a Milan loanee, a young Norwegian by the name of Jons Peter Hauge.
Interesting. मतलब काफी है फायर पावर and we'll get to details. लेकिन of course talking about Barca, यार, yes, the king had to be here. That is Muktesh, Markaroni.
ऐसे मत बोलो भैया. अरे नहीं भाई.
अरे जो लोग बोल रहे हैं वही हम बोल रहे हैं. अरे यार कोई right, that's all it is.
नहीं. Hello everyone. Hello, I'm really sorry for being late. Hello Ankit भैया. Hello Sadiq भाई. Hello Dhenuka ma'am. Hello everyone. Hello.
मैम मत बोलो यार.
अच्छा, hello Dhenuka मैम. I'm sorry.
वही मुझे यार वही लग रहा था यार क्या एड्रेस करें लेकिन आए कम ऑन.
हाँ मैं सोच के मैं पता है while I was joining it I was really like confused कि how should I address it. मुझे पता अंकित भैया को अंकित भैया बोलना है, सादिक भाई को सादिक भाई बोलना है, वैसे भाई लेकिन ही फेमस है सादिक भाई. मैं कहा what should I address Dhenuka with. So
अरे I keep telling यार I just celebrated my 18th birthday. How can you call me भैया?
You of course no 16 you celebrated.
Exactly.
In in a world where a 17 and 19-year-old Gavi and Pedri are dominating, we all are kids.
Yes, absolutely. Merely born
100%
yet.
Amit. And of
Sadiq
course,
bhai ji.
Baba OP bhi ho jaye. Yes, Dhenuka OP for sure. But Muktesh, yaar, come on. Like, Barca against Real Madrid, huge weekend जो सादिक भाई पे बोल रहे थे. But for you, I don't know, like, recent games में एक चीज मैं शुरू करना चाहूंगा. मैं एक्चुअली उस दिन AKG से भी बात कर रहा था. Only thing is like, ये चीज से मैं सरप्राइज हूँ मुक्तेश. Like, what about Xavi saying Aubameyang is a gift from the heavens? I know बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है. But you really think वो long term solution है बारसा का?
Oh, he's absolutely a gift from the heavens. Like, I, if I sort of highlight this point कि जो हम लोगों को जो सेंटर like striker वाली जो चीज थी, with अगर मैं पिछले कुछ seasons की बात करूँ, like we had struggling Suarez, we got Griezmann, but he was not sort of sitting that well in our system. In all this, there is like Aubameyang एक last day transfer window के last day पे out of nowhere Barcelona decides to go for him, they latch him, और भाई आर्सेनल खुद अपने उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टर्मिनेट करके उसको लेकर आते हैं. देयर इज नो हाइप अबाउट दिस ट्रांसफर एंड नाउ ही स्कोरिंग गोल्स ब्रेसेस इन एवरी अदर मैच. ही इज ठीक है उसका. आई वोंट से हिज लास्ट मतलब ऑफ कोर्स जो लास्ट गेम ने खेली गैलेटेस के खिलाफ दैट वाज वन ऑफ हिज बेस्ट गेम, बट स्टिल ही एंडेड अप ऑन द स्कोर शीट. So it is like if he is doing everything possible, we ask from a striker, then why not we just call him a gift from the heavens? Absolutely, bhai. I agree with what Xavi says, and at this point, I agree with everything Xavi says. He says that we are the best in the world. I agree with that. I don't care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, I can get that. मतलब जब अच्छा चल रहा है तो you got to basically praise that and that hopefully continue for Barca sake. लेकिन again काफी लोग जो देख रहे हैं please like the stream, it helps so that we have ज़्यादा लोगों को ज़्यादा discussion में मजा आएगा. और भी काफी सारा as in reaction होने वाला है आज based on UCL draw हम किए थे. लेकिन अभी कुछ घंटे हो गए as in सांस लेने का मौका मिला है. I'm like okay fine, we are actually playing Real Madrid, Barca is playing Frankfurt and what not. लेकिन हाँ, do check out Markaroni of course यार. By chance आपने नहीं किया है, I always say Markaroni, one of those channels where मेरा अगर मूड खराब है ना, दिन खराब है, Markaroni का देख लो एक वीडियो, दिन बन जाता है. That is what he
वो
is.
शर्म
People
वो आ
trust me.
जाती है या
I
फिर
mark my words on
थैंक यू.
that, right? And again, Baba in the house who's already there. लेकिन I
बाबा,
think
I own
we
you,
have
बाबा.
to नहीं, we have to definitely get to UCL draw again. Like it's, I have that एक है मतलब वो hangover है. वो जो draw थी ना, मतलब again I'll just try and share my screen, but Dhenuka again, I know Real Madrid, Chelsea तो है ही खैर. लेकिन I think firstly Man City versus Atletico. Maybe आप बोलोगे यार, knowing Atletico Madrid, maybe Man City would have wanted to avoid that one team क्योंकि वो dark arts is something that Man City are probably not good at. Huh?
Yeah, but to be honest, and I was saying this earlier also, जब live हुआ था, I think Man City has this, क्योंकि Atletico जो है ना, उनका the based on last game, if we are making informed decisions, I think it's more like United didn't play well at all. So it was not like Athletic put like a put in a stunning performance or anything. And Atleti also in the league, if you see, they have not been performing well consistently at all. There was a time, बीच में जब they were being beat by every team. Like it was the thing कि अच्छा ये team है, this is also going to beat Atletico. This is also, so it was like mid-level teams, bottom tier teams. It was not just the top teams. So Atleti, I don't know, something is not clicking. Suarez is not clicking over there this season, and they don't have their. They were like super quick on the counter. They had like even they started without like their first choice defenders. They were injured for a while, but even after all that, something is not clicking वहाँ पे. And और एक चीज ये है कि last season they won, but at one point they were leading Real Madrid by 10 points, Real and Barca by 10 points, and still it got to a point where there was like a very close tie. Like it came down to that last game where Real was like 1 point behind, and they scraped that league title last season. And it also highlights the fact that Barca and Real were bad last season, to be very honest, because of injuries, because of transition, everything. So I think Atleti, and they're playing Pep, who knows Atleti. Who knows
By
the
the way,
tactics?
first time, right? Man City Atleti is happening for the first time. So I know Pep. I think he's beaten Pep at Bayern Munich, if I remember right. But that's interesting. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I think that this should be City's game to win, uh,
Yep,
based
yep.
on how Atleti
And
played.
then hopefully meet Chelsea. But yeah, I would, I know what you mean. Like,
I
Dhenuka,
can't say
I'm not
yes
going
to
to get there.
that.
Absolutely. But like, let me take a neutral opinion. Sadiq bhai, like, come on. You saw last year जो हुआ था, Madrid versus Chelsea. Madrid played Liverpool. You know how those two legs were. But I think Dhenuka already touched upon. बहुत चीज change हुआ है last year versus this year. But this year, like even looking at both the teams, and Chelsea are against like dire straits. Or जब Chelsea, उठती है and they really perform. But lots can change even in the next 15-20 दिनों में in terms of the news. So what do you think will be like that difference maker? Again, people do take that poll because that poll is important both for the El-Clasico and the UCL draw. हाँ सादिक भाई क्या difference maker होगा उस game में?
To me, the difference maker in this game will be Thomas Tuchel. Because if you see, I think when this whole Chelsea thing started with the ownership, me, and Chirag were on a live stream, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, there are two ways this Chelsea team can go, and there is no middle ground in it. Either the team will completely falter, or they will gel into a very strong us against the world kind of unit. And that's what we are seeing there. If you remember the day when this owner thing broke out, there was a media report saying that Lukaku wants out and stuff, and Lukaku himself came and rubbished it. That I don't want people talking such stuff about me at this time.
Yeah.
So
Finally.
that tells you, and when a coach comes and tells you that I have a seven-seater and I'll take the team in that, and Kai Havertz says that I can pay for the travels, that tells you the level of mentality that team is performing at now. I mean, I know I'm a Barca fan and a United fan, so Real Madrid would be the last team I would support in most circumstances. But even not taking that
ये
into
देखो यार
consideration,
ये but ये तो consider करना पड़ेगा यार Alonso.
yeah, those are tactical things that you need to work out because there are weaknesses on the, on the Real Madrid side also.
Yeah.
The beauty of this matchup is both teams are very good, yet neither of them are perfect in every position, and that's what makes this tie that difficult to call. But I would say that Chelsea, with that extra edge and mentality at this moment, might just pip Real Madrid.
Yeah. पता नहीं एक जोक चल रहा था आज ट्विटर पे कितना सच है भगवान ही जाने क्या है आई थिंक Atletico Madrid and I think Chelsea or rather Real Madrid are playing on I think one after the other in terms of the days the fixtures so
Yeah. So there was a
there's a
confusion.
request yeah confusion ही मेरे rumor ही था कि basically there was a request कि they play on the same day so that Chelsea and Man City can travel together in the same plane क्योंकि fuel का पैसा नहीं है हमारे पास that's quite possible. I don't know. But Muktesh, यार आप देखते हो यार
They,
atmosphere कल देखा था
that
by the
thing
way.
was because two city
Yes.
they are the same city, right?
Yeah,
Atletico,
exactly.
they're both Madrid, so they can't play on the same day. The home
Yeah, as in
fixture.
I know that on a serious note, of
Right.
course, but I think in the end there's no change, right? Officially, I don't
पहले
think
They
it's-
changed the dates.
पहले पहले मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा तो हो रहा था कि सेकंड लेग मेरे आई एम नॉट श्योर बट शायद से सेकंड लेग मैड्रिड की वहां पे होनी थी एट बर्नबाउ बट देन क्योंकि दोनों ही
उल्टा।
क्या मुक्तेश यू आर
उल्टा।
गोइंग डाउन टुनाइट अच्छा उल्टा हाथ जो भी है नाउ देयर इज उल्टा हाथ जो भी है बेसिकली कुछ ऐसा कुछ है बट यस बाबा यस आई विल सी यू बाबा आई एम नॉट स्केयर्ड
So that was the rumor that Madrid was they're going to change the order, home and away
venue
ka
yeah to make sure that
order.
yes she's
But
right
then
I
that didn't
think there
happen. They
was
changed the date instead, which makes
Okay.
I
sense.
think there was also another petition filed, right, by the Chelsea board or someone that
For
to
the flight?
play both of them behind closed doors. No,
वो तो मिडिल
play-
पूरा गेम के लिए था लेकिन इट हैज बीन रिजेक्टेड एंड हम जा रहे हैं ना बस
Okay.
में प्रॉपर विद नो फैंस दैट इज समथिंग दैट्स ऑलरेडी डन that is Chelsea. We don't get our request. Come on, we remember the Wolves game. I remember Sadiq bhai se discuss किया था. We had like literally 2 or 3 players available. फिर भी यार we had to play.
हाँ you had a paper in squad like I still remember कौन खेल रहा था तुम्हारा विंग बैक कौन खेल रहा था
अरे वो हावी वेल सबको ला दिए थे हम लोग. That was the game, right? As in, but
बाबा
that's about it.
रेंटिंग की भाई हमारे पास स्क्वाड ही नहीं है यार ये क्या हो रहा है ये
Anyways, we are used to it, Muktesh. Like, that's what we are. But Muktesh, bhai, like, I would ask you about the crowd. Great point by Sadiq bhai, because yes, there is a possibility, there may not be any crowd at Stamford Bridge. Huge possibility that UEFA bully. Abhi tak, technically, we will not have any crowd. We will not be able to sell any tickets. So that will be a huge thing. Plus, second leg of Bernabeu में ना. So knowing that atmosphere, especially as a Barca fan, आप कल देखे थे, hell to heaven बन गया था, I know, Galatasaray के against. But Madrid, I think again it can be two ways, right? कभी-कभी वो उल्टा भी पड़ जाता है Madrid का जो fan base है. But at the same time, I know that it can be a huge positive. But do you see that is probably the difference maker?
I think that is going to be have a huge say. Like probably at a point I won't even be confident in Chelsea if they are winning the first leg by 3-0. Because absolutely, no offense to Chelsea fans, vamos Chelsea. I hope Chelsea wins. But like, come on, Real and at their home, we all saw what they did against PSG. And even Sadiq Bhai knows we Barca fans, we know exactly what it means for Real to play at their home. Though in this century we have won the most games at their most El-Clasicos at Santiago Bernabeu, but the environment they have, as you said, it can even trigger back because they don't hold themselves if they're not happy with their players. We have seen Braille criticize that. We have seen Casillas criticize that once. So, but I don't really think that that's going to happen now. The fans are really happy. It seems like that. They're happy with the club. They're happy with Perez. They're happy with almost everything going around. But the players, who matter the most. The point is कि अभी बहुत time है. There's literally a lot of time before we enter these semi-finals and all these things. Players की injuries and all those things are going to play a lot of part. Chelsea यहाँ से कहाँ जाती है is going to play a lot of part. But I think crowd will have a very big say. I think Chelsea के लिए it is going to make things a lot difficult.
Yeah, exactly. यहाँ पर अंकित भाई जोजे quotes about Sari, classic Jose special one, absolutely. लेकिन यार again, like आप बोल सकते हो it's debatable. It's probably 50-50. This is a tie. It's really difficult to call. Honestly, मैं बोलूँ तो considering जो Chelsea खेलती है Champions League में, the kind of form that Real Madrid is. But let's look at the other leg because I think Man City है. Would you be saying that? I'll put it to Dhenuka. Dhenuka, Man City, the way they are playing, I know it's Champions League, they haven't done at that level still. But do you feel that Man City, you told about Atletico Madrid, they'll probably roll over them. But what about Man City against Chelsea or Real Madrid?
Yeah, that will be an interesting fixture. And so I can only go by like their form in the Champions League last final, I think. I
अरे
can't comment.
डिफेंसिव मिडफील्डर इस बार डेफिनेटली होगा, वो तो पक्की बात है.
But I don't know मतलब वो क्या मेंटालिटी लेके आते हैं एंड वहाँ पे that will make a difference. जैसे हमने देखा it was the same with PSG also. तो वहाँ पे मुझे ऐसा लगता है ना, इसीलिए मुझे ऐसा था कि I was okay with in fact getting Man City पहले rather than Chelsea in the draw. एंड ये मैंने पहले भी बोला था. सो आई थिंक चेल्सी या मैड्रिड में से whoever goes through, I think Man City has a tougher draw between these two. I think the chances of one of these two going ahead is higher. That's
okay, fair enough. That's confidence speaking, of course. लेकिन हाँ, मतलब obviously you're an almighty blues. You can say कि Real Madrid are going to roll over Chelsea. कुछ नहीं करूँगा, टेंशन नहीं है इसका.
नहीं ऐसे नहीं बोला ना, मैं वही बोल रही हूँ. That I won't say.
नहीं लेकिन actually like honestly I have a different opinion. Like I feel कि Man City are certainly the team to beat. No matter what. आप हाँ PSG जो भी बोले PSG के compare कर सकते हो, but what has happened recent seasons is a different thing. Lyon के साथ they didn't have a great game couple of years ago. Lekin those are learnings for me. Like they got to a final and now the next step is waiting for them. Like they really believe that. Lekin I think fixtures will be very interesting. If I'm not wrong, Dhenuka, Real Madrid are playing Celta Vigo before, and I think Sevilla ka game is just after the second leg. Chelsea are playing I think Brentford and Southampton. So I know that abhi to La Liga में about 10 points ahead if I'm not wrong, Real Madrid. So it will be good enough. लेकिन वही अगर El-Clasico में जो होता है, supposing Real Madrid don't win, then suddenly that Sevilla game becomes important, right? So वहाँ पर there might be something, and Man City on the other hand have a title charge, right, going against Liverpool. So Sadiq bhai, what do you think about the Man City as in the case, right? Are you on the Man City as in bandwagon? Are you saying that Man City are going to win this time? What is your prediction going for the the draw? Liverpool have a great draw.
Either of them are not a good option for me as a United fan. If Liverpool wins, they win title number 20 and tie us. Man City is our city rivals, so obviously we don't want that. So in an ideal world, I would want them to lose all of the remaining matches and Chelsea to win the title. That would be the
Wow,
best
wow,
outcome for a United fan
wow,
at the
wow.
moment.
Come
But
on, Sadiq bhai is my best friend. Everyone knows it by now. But again, अब तो यार भाई भी बन जाओ. Trust me. Check
no,
पहुंच
but
रहा है भाई,
speaking
बहुत जल्दी पहुंच
logically,
रहा है. वो अलग बात है.
see, speaking logically at the moment, it's very difficult to call. It's just a 1 point lead right now. But Liverpool, again, last match, I thought they might just slip up against Arsenal, probably drop points. But the way they showed up in the second half, I mean, the last 35 minutes or so, they didn't give Arsenal a sniff. Before that, Arsenal was having a very good game. I mean, they were matching them blow for blow, so to speak. But once Liverpool just turned on the Jets, and that was it. They just shut Arsenal down completely in the last 30-35 minutes. So that's
Yeah.
what Liverpool can do to you. And City can just keep coasting again and again and again, winning games back to back to back. But then they have this season, even at the beginning of the season, when someone asked me, I said, this season City shows me that they have that slight slip in them. They went on a big win streak, but then they had that slip where they dropped points in 3 or 4 games, and that's it. That's what allowed Liverpool back into this race.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah,
very
that's
tough race to call. I would,
देखो.
if you ask me between a rock and a hard place, Manchester City takes it. So Liverpool still does not get number 20.
Okay, but anyway, I'll go the first one. I'll go with Chelsea. Come on, come on. वो होना ही चाहिए.
That
But
is the
anyway,
best.
I mean,
That's the best scenario.
at least for me and you for the time being. यार, absolutely ये fake news है. I can assure you this is fake news. But हाँ, good that you shared. We just shared, spoke about it. I think we have to speak a little bit about Barca as well. I know it was basically UCL, no pun intended, Muktesh bhai. लेकिन quickly, okay, I think Muktesh bhai is kind of busy, so probably yeah, that's no problem. I'll probably show it to Sadiq bhai itself. Like against जो हुआ था Galatasaray, I think Marcao scored that goal, early goal, and I don't know, he got that what kick to the corner flag, and I don't know, in a strange way that gave a kick to Barca. But how did Barca manage to turn it on with that crowd and hostile atmosphere? इतने youngsters भाई 17-18 साल के ये बंदे हैं. One of this team is doing great guns. As in, you think this was a major point for Barca?
Absolutely, given that it was such a hostile environment in which these young players are playing. But then again, there comes a time, where we say that it is uh, it's the bliss of youth, basically. You are oblivious to the ignorance of youth. So you are oblivious to pressure at times. So that also helps. But the other thing was, if you watch the starting 30 minutes of the game, Barca was not pressing as it usually does. I mean, I've been on record saying that I was surprised to see that the current crop of young midfielders that we have, Frankie, Gavi, Pedri, Nico, and then when you add Sergio Busquets to that and you add an attacker like Ferran, these people are instinctive pressers. They have an intuition about pressing. If you watch them press, it's not like the Klopp's heavy metal press, but it is as aggressive. But it just comes instinctively to them. Like if Gavi is pressing someone, Nico knows where to be, Pedri knows where to be, the other person knows who next to press. And similarly, when they have to counter press if they lose the ball. But throughout the first 35 minutes of yesterday's game, वो लोग वो passing में lethargic थे, उसमें वो थे. तो once they conceded, it just sort of triggered that shit just got real for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they started playing the game back at the same thing. And that Pedri goal that he scored yesterday, that was pure magic.
Arey,
That was a moment of magic.
awesome. I just loved it. I just loved it. Absolutely. Like even like I'm a neutral. I am loving Barca. मतलब मैं तो literally with Sadiq bhai maybe वो influence हो गया क्या है? Recently I've almost like become a Barca fan. Sadiq bhai आपकी संगत है, I don't know. But I think again like we have what close to 100 people watching. I am hoping all the 100 are subscribed. सब 100 लोग subscribe कर दो. एक बटन प्रेस करना है और एक ही नहीं मार्करोनी को भी करिए राइट अवे करिए एंड आई एम होपिंग दैट Sadiq bhai and Dhenuka will also come up with channels where we say the same thing. Great content that they always
Sadiq bhai
talk about.
opens a channel, everybody goes to vacation.
Arey,
Everybody vanish. Everybody
Sadiq
like,
bhai
hey,
is
we are
no
out of
more.
here.
Come on. That has to be the
Everyone's
case.
channel is my channel, so don't worry
Everybody's
about
channel. See, that's a positive way. That's a positive way to say I own you all.
Yeah, आप देख रहे हो comment? Come on, यार. 100 people watching. Hopefully, they all are subscribed. Again, it's not just Chelsea content. For people, new watchers, we do a lot of content. I think you have the proof in the panel itself. We try to mix it up. We have great trivia shows and whatnot. I'm pretty sure Muktesh bhai, बात हुई थी हमारी. Even you have to come someday. करेंगे एक दिन, करेंगे for sure. लेकिन I'll ask a difficult question to Dhenuka here. Dhenuka, I know कोई सीक्रेट ही नहीं है. चेल्सी की टीम की बात करें तो it starts with Kante. N'Golo Kante is basically what Chelsea team is, especially Champions League में जो हुआ था last season Real Madrid के साथ. लेकिन apart from Kante, if you have a chance, like you get that one player at Real Madrid in the current system, who would you get?
From Chelsea to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Hmm. Let's see. I would have said like Rudiger, but then we have people now. So
Wow. You know what? This kind of answers the question like Real Madrid are well to do. यार हमने भी दिया,
नहीं
हम
नहीं नहीं
लोग
so
आप लोग अपने पास रखो.
नहीं नहीं
चलो
ऐसे
अच्छी
नहीं
बात है,
like
रूडिगर एटलीस्ट रहेगा यार.
I'm thinking of how they'll fit in with the current crop and all of that stuff. I'm ऐसे
Then
ऐसे
एक
नहीं
तो
कि बोल के
one you have already taken and you're not using him also. Eden Hazard, like the legend, man. I mean,
listen.
come on, what have you made
Do
of
you
Eden Hazard?
fault us for it though?
I know, not really. It's his mistake. Obviously, वो वाला fit नहीं था and all that, you know. And there is a
See, and
portion to it, but हाँ.
yeah. And the thing is, see, I can understand if it was one manager, okay? Both of them doing this, I genuinely think like a lot of us don't have the perspective that these managers have and the staff have, because they see them day in and day out at training and they know their levels, fitness levels, they know their whether they are match fit and how they are going to perform. Uh, so you could say that maybe like Zidane had a thing against him or whatever, but then Carlo does the same thing, right? And who knows? So, but one thing is there, okay? All Madridistas were like insanely happy when Hazard scored. It's that thing where we really wanted him to do well. Okay, this is one signing I really wanted to click, and it didn't, and I feel really bad about it. But it is what it is. That's
No, you can't just feel bad. Like I know I'm kind of putting you under the bus, but yeah. Before that, like we have 127 people watching. Come on, like you are watching because you're liking it. I'm assuming. So liking के लिए आपको ये thumbs up देना पड़ता है. Just click on it and subscribe. It's just the press of a button to Almighty Blues FC to Markaroni. The link is in the description below and in the title as well. लेकिन coming back to Dhenuka, see
let's
Hazard का ऐसा है, मैं बोलता हूँ scenario. अब I don't know about Benzema. Is he 100% fit? Against Mallorca, I think he was injured, right? Towards the end.
yeah
Already reports में पढ़
Benzema.
रहा था आज. So I think Asensio is rumored to be playing the false nine, as per reports,
Jeez,
as a start.
are you serious?
मतलब I know I've seen your videos and I'm coming to that as well. लेकिन that is the extreme situation. Hazard भाई वो कर सकता है. He has. I know he's not fit that what he used to be. He can be a false nine. He can actually play
Listen,
that.
no Madridista wants Asensio to be a false anything, to be very honest. But
Just the
Carlo
thought
has
of that brings a smile to my face.
so to be very
He's
honest,
going
I'll
to be
tell
a
you.
false Real player. That's all he does.
Exactly. So he's going to be a false whatever. So it didn't work out. How many times do we have to keep trying this? He's not working out as a false nine. He's not working out. But anyway, Carlos Carlo, and he'll start him.
Yeah, Jeet Parmar is ready to send Reece James. Huh? Reece James to Real Madrid already शुरू हो गया.
Reece James, I forgot. No, how could I forget? Right.
You need a right back technically. नहीं,
RB
मतलब Carvajal is good,
desperately.
but
Desperately. No, we desperately need one because Carvajal ka injury record is insane. So it's a miracle that this time he was only injured for like at the beginning of the season. But यही है ना हमारे ये चार जो है Mendy, Alaba, Militao and Carvajal. One gets injured, we have a Nacho, but other than that, this is it. Our right back backup is Lucas Vasquez. That's not a plan. So desperately need a right back for seasons now. But again, I don't know. We like everybody's been shouting horse, but pata nahi aayega ki nahi. So Reece James would be.
ले लो ऐसे भी
Thank
यार
you.
Chelsea के पास what I'll tell you why.
मैं सोच रही थी Kovacic. I was thinking of Kova, but then
He was already
again
there.
it'll mess up what he was already there. He came. He didn't want
exactly.
to. He wanted to start, and Modric was So it's the same as what is happening with say like a Kamavinga or whatever. So
Anyway,
similar
हमारी तो आदत
situation.
होगी ना. बारसा आई थिंक इज अ प्राइम एग्जांपल. अभी देखो हमारे राइट बैक so we have plenty. See, we gave away Livramento, we gave away Lamptey. अभी Aspilicueta probably is going to Barca. I think
Barca, I
Muktesh
heard.
and Sadiq bhai will say
Christensen
that.
is already there. What is good?
Christensen हम लोग रेडी करते तैयार
Christensen.
करते आप लोग यूज करो. You know that is what it is. So इनिशियल लो यार तैयार हो जाएगा.
यार
That
हमारे
is
यहाँ कोई
Chelsea.
नहीं आया है. आजाद और कोतवा को छोड़ के.
Yeah, I
Hazard or
think people.
Courtois, probably one of the finest player Chelsea have produced in past so many
Ian
years.
Robin भाई मेरा
कोई नहीं
all
आया.
time favorite.
हाँ, Robin
सिर्फ-
from back in the day, but Robin for us was like glass man. Yeah.
Best player. You have had the cream, and you're saying कि कोई नहीं आया.
नहीं, I was talking about defense. Yeah,
अच्छा.
they were saying Christensen and Aspi and all of these people, and we were talking about ये ना
But you don't really need defense, like to be honest. Militao सही तो चल रहा है.
But I think
And then
I know we need a right back. What are you saying?
right कोई ना एक दो होल्स होने चाहिए हर टीम में.
I think
Exactly.
Madrid का
होल
तो
कोई है नहीं और बाकी.
I remember 2001 में जब पेरेज आया था तो उसने आते ही ये बोला था ना, he just wants to buy the attacking, वो Zidane और Pavon वाला जो उसका famous कि Pavon was actually a center back and a CDM. तो डिफेंस जितना भी है रियल हमेशा इन हाउस ही बिल्ड करता है. सर्जियो रामोस ले लो, उससे पहले फर्नांडो हियरो देख लो, दे आर ऑल इन हाउस.
Ramos लेकिन Sevilla, he was not.
हाँ मतलब you get him like you get them very young.
When they are very young. Yeah.
When they're very young, you don't spend much money on defenders. You get them in young.
But that Perez and this Perez are like two different people, to be honest.
Yeah,
He's
definitely,
changed a lot
definitely.
over the years.
नहीं, because
Honestly.
that 2001 to 2007 phase taught him ना कि you have to build your midfield and you have, क्योंकि everyone talks about the second Galactico era with Kaká, Ronaldo, Benzema that got you those other 4 Champions League later on. But what people forget is the key signings of a Cruz, Casemiro and Modric for much lower prices that build your spine of that team.
Right.
Exactly. By the way, यार again 130 people watching. I know मैं बार-बार बोल रहा हूँ, but come on, you have to press that यार. Get us.
Wait, मैं बोल देता हूँ. Guys, please subscribe कर दो यार and like this stream यार. Please, like legend, please बोल रहे हैं. बहुत हेल्प मिलते हैं यार. अंकित भी इतने प्यार से बैठे हुए हैं यार यहाँ पे. हम इसीलिए you are loving it यार. Why not? Just like and subscribe, guys. Now अंकित भी please continue.
अब इसके बाद भी नहीं हुआ ना तो there's no hope.
अब अगर इसके बाद भी नहीं हुआ ना तो फिर तो अंकित भैया मैं बता रहा हूँ मारना इनको घुस के.
नहीं, absolutely everyone is welcome. We call it ना, it's a fan channel for all to see. But Muktesh, like as in we have to speak about as in Barca's match against Galatasaray quickly because Gavi not starting, Dembele not starting. I think Barca वो prepare कर रही है El-Clasico के लिए. Gavi I think available थे ना. That's what I think Sadiq bhai me quickly discussed yesterday. तो आप expect करोगे El-Clasico के लिए? Yeah, exactly. So Dembele, the form is, and I've been watching a videos Muktesh, बहुत I know थोड़ा mixed opinion है, लेकिन जो form है, just by going by his form, Dembele starts every game. He should be the first name on the team sheet, नहीं?
No, I agree as well. अरे इसके अंदर तो same opinion. I agree as well.
वो signing का थोड़ा opinion अलग है
हाँ, that is the only part like which makes every Barca fan कि यार चलो कितना back करे इस बंदे को. Like एक point तक we back him till the point जहाँ तक हमारा badge is not is always above the player. We back him till there. जहाँ पे हमें लगता है ना कि ये player हम थोड़ा badge के ऊपर रख रहे हैं, we stop supporting him. ये Dembele के साथ हमारा ये scene है. But जिस form के साथ तो वो चल रहा है, there is no doubt that he starts every game. He's by far our best attacking player. Like उस हिसाब से अगर मैं देखूँ, फेरान चल नहीं रहा, Aubameyang is scoring goals, but then again Aubameyang की अगर मैं बात करूँ कि कंसिस्टेंसी लाइक जो कल वाले मैच की अगर मैं बात करूँ कि उसके साथ वाली टीम कितनी परफॉर्मेंस के हिसाब से डिलीवर करती है, Aubameyang की परफॉर्मेंस उसके ऊपर डिसाइड होती है. कल पूरी बार्सिलोना अगर they were panicking their passes in the first half, absolutely they were getting pressed like mad. It was not Xavi's Barcelona, if I should term that in in that way. But Dembele के साथ ये सीन है, we always know कि अगर ये आएगा ना फील्ड के ऊपर, he is going to perform in a certain way which is unpredictable. But we know कि भाई चलो ये चीज confirmed है कि अगर वो राइट वाला विंग ना वो संभाल लेगा, हमें अच्छे थोड़े क्रॉसेस मिल जाएंगे, we will get few fine dribbles, we will get certain things. अडामा के साथ इट इज लाइक एक कंटेनर, ये यहीं पे बॉल पकड़ेगा, ये यहाँ से सीधा भगा के लेके जाएगा, ये यहाँ से क्रॉस डालेगा, कुछ चीजें
वन
फिक्स है।
ट्रिक पोनी है, वही है, मतलब दैट्स एन
हाँ
ऑनेस्ट
Predictable.
ओपिनियन वो
हाँ,
we have
so
seen
that
it
is
against
predictable.
Liverpool.
That is predictable about him. But
Exactly.
Dembele is not predictable. Nobody can predict. Even Dembele can predict himself. वो इस टाइप का प्लेयर है.
मैं तो सोच रहा हूँ with Fati is fit. Imagine like Ansu Fati है,
Imagine.
Dembele है, you already have Pedri, Gavi can play there, भाई साहब, मतलब अलग ही लेवल. बारसा, I'm telling you ना, मतलब सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर जैसे AC मिलान का डेवलप हुआ है over the years. For me, Kaká was a player for me back in the day. लेकिन बारसा का slowly but steadily हो रहा है. Again, Chelsea but will remain on top. लेकिन congratulations Markaroni for featuring La Liga official भैया, मुझे मालूम नहीं था यार.
अरे
Congratulations.
thank you.
Big
अरे
congratulations. Certainly यार, मार्करोनी ओपी हो जाए चैट में. Everyone, come on, he
Thank you,
works a
thank you,
lot,
thank you
trust me,
guys.
and he actually entertains us, trust me.
Guys,
Bhaiya deserves it.
अगर तुम्हें मेरे को congratulations बोलना है तो guys सब्सक्राइब कर दो भैया के चैनल को. I'll be very happy. Yes.
Thank you, and of course Rene, thank you. As in Rene has been there in an earlier stream as well, and really thanks for you to join again. Lekin I think again coming to Barca itself, Sadiq bhai, I don't know, we can talk about the formations and whatnot. लेकिन यूरोपा लीग में again West Ham potential as an opponent होंगे in the next round. What do you think? West Ham, David Moyes यार, David Moyes तो देखना चाहूँगा यार कैंप नो में नहीं.
Honestly, for some reason, West Ham doesn't concern me much
Oh yeah,
against the way Barca's playing.
like imagine as an Antonio against that backline.
Nobody concerns me as a Barca fan. Bring us Bayern.
Antonio against that backline is not much of an issue because yesterday the backline we played is not our first choice backline. You saw the difference that it makes because if you see in the first half, Hector Toglu on the right wing was causing a lot of issues because Serginho Dest defending on the right wing is not as good as he's on the left side. So offensively on the right, he's better. It's a weird conundrum that we have. He's a very good offensive fullback when you play him on the right, and he's a very good defensive fullback when you play him on the left. So if you look at, and anyways, when we're building in this current Xavi system, we start as a 4-3-3, but we build up with a 3 at the back. We go 3, a 4 diamond in the middle, and a 3 up front, which keeps interchanging. Now, you saw in the second half when we got Ronald Araujo, and he was defending in space. He shut down that right side, and then we made them very one-dimensional in attack. All the attacks were going through Ryan Babel. So, against West Ham, obviously, it's a semi-final. Touch wood that Ronald Araujo is not having a knock or not carrying any injury. If he's playing, he can easily man mark or mark Antonio out of that game, and especially because West Ham will need the ball to supply to Antonio. And against Barcelona, you won't get enough of the ball. So somehow West Ham doesn't concern me much. Frankfurt, on the other end, as I was saying earlier also, is adept at playing that waiting game. And they've got the quick wingers who can open up our wing defense with long balls and through balls, which was happening even yesterday to some extent. So for me, Frankfurt is the bigger fear as compared to the next round against West Ham or Lyon.
Interesting यार. यहाँ सुपर टॉमी टुकल यार तब से बोल रहे. Come on यार, as in that's football for you. Pep bottling it. पता नहीं यार, मतलब bottling I would not say so. Dhenuka, would you say, because it kind of happens. I was actually disappointed at Chelsea. I know we were having a lot of injuries. If we had not gotten those draws, we could have also gotten there, right? As in वो football है, नहीं?
Yep, I agree. And Carlo ने भी किया है, तो I can't say anything.
Now I know why you agree. Absolutely. Lekin I know Muktesh bhai, you have to leave in a couple of minutes. I'll take a quick prediction from you, Muktesh bhai, before you go. First of all, Europa League, you already said it. I think you are probably expecting Barca to win it, nahi? Mute पर हो क्या?
Muktesh, you're mute.
Yeah, sorry. नहीं, I'm supporting Rangers in Europa, without a doubt. And UCL के लिए I'm going for UCL के लिए यार मैंने मतलब UCL की स्टार्टिंग में UCL शुरू होने से पहले मैंने प्रेडिक्शन की थी कि द फाइनल इज गोना बी रियल और मैन सिटी सेम ब्रैकेट में नहीं है ना? करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग.
है ना सेम ब्रैकेट में
ना?
हाँ, रियल चेल्सी एंड मैन सिटी और एटलेटिको मैड्रिड है ना सेम ब्रैकेट.
हाँ ठीक है. तो मैन सिटी और रियल ठीक है. मैंने वैसे फाइनल प्रेडिक्ट करा था कि मैन सिटी और रियल फाइनल होगा, एंड आई प्रेडिक्टेड फॉर मैन सिटी टू विन इट. फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा होगा कि रियल इज गोना लूज. मतलब रियल को फाइनल हारी है क्या यूसीएल का? I don't
फाइनल
remember.
नहीं हारी, यूसीएल का
है
फाइनल
ना,
नहीं हारी.
यूसीएल का फाइनल नहीं हारी वो लोग का. हाँ ठीक है, तो आई थॉट कि ये होगा, बट क्योंकि अब वो लोग सेम ब्रैकेट में है, so I'm going to go for a like Bayern versus Man City final and Man City to win it. That is my prediction.
और एल क्लासिको भाई,
एल क्लासिको तो भाई 2-2 ड्रॉ.
2-2 ड्रॉ. चलो चलो, तो सही है.
बाकी
मतलब
अगर हम
एटलीस्ट
जीत गए तो चक दे फट्टे भाई. आई डोंट आई मेरे
But
को
you know
ज्यादा
what?
हाइप नहीं करना.
नहीं, hype की बात नहीं. I think Barcelona is on a roll, and like I mean you have to be delusional to think कि ये team is not. तुम बात कर रहे थे ना इसकी ओबामेयांग की साइनिंग की. आई थिंक वो कभी कभी ऐसे साइनिंग्स ना, द नीड ऑफ द डे, एंड देन जो मिल गया, यू नीडेड अ फिनिशर, तुमको मिल गया, एंड इट हैज क्लिक्ड फैबुलसली. सो it's not like so it and he's clicking, so that's the need of the day solved, and that's what you need in a season like this, jahan pe now you're fighting for that UCL spot. So great signing, and I think right time पे peak हुए हैं सब. तो एंड एक और चीज है कि आई सपोर्ट स्पेन नेशनल टीम में. मैं नेशनल टीम
Okay.
में स्पेन. So
So you are a closet Barca fan as well.
I'm not.
Like,
There is one thing I'm very clear on.
वो अलग हो
See, it
जाएगा ना,
is.
कंट्रोवर्सी
अच्छा,
कैटलोनिया एंड ऑल दैट, वो हो जाएगा शुरू.
I'm not. No. I'm not a closet Barcelona fan. That much I can tell
यार
you.
बच जाओ यार. I'm
20
telling you,
साल
the
के
hype
ऊपर
is
हूँ.
real. The hype is real. Come on.
So
Barca is the real shit. कब तक जीतते रहोगे रियल के साथ? कभी बारसा के साथ जीत के देखो, फील अलग आती है.
क्या?
ओह,
अब it's
I am
only
sure
been
about it that
22
nothing.
years और 20 साल के बाद देखते हैं. So no.
ओके, मैं जाते जाते प्रेडिक्शन चेंज कर दूंगा अपनी, ठीक है. मेरी प्रेडिक्शन है 4-0 टू बारसा. ओके, 4 साल हो
क्या
दैट
बात
इज
है.
द
गया.
स्पिरिट.
नाउ दैट्स द
मुक्तेश
थिंग.
भाई एकदम
यस,
टेक
ब्रिंग इट ऑन.
दैट.
आई एम गोइंग हार्ड.
चलो भाई, ये सही है. बट एनीवे 200 लोग देख रहे हैं यार, कम ऑन एवरीवन, सब्सक्राइब.
200
लेकिन
लोग
यार
देख रहे
बाय
हैं.
चांस,
गाइस सब्सक्राइब, लाइक, शेयर, रिपीट, एंड I'll have to leave. That was
एब्सोल्युटली
my main
एब्सोल्युटली
thing.
भाई.
Yeah,
मिलते हैं.
thank you so
ऑलवेज
much.
गेट टू हैव यू एंड वील मीट यू सून. ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर द गेम.
Thank you
चलो
all.
चलो, थैंक यू
Bye
कमिंग
Ankit
ऑन.
bhaiya, bye Sadiq bhai, bye Dhenuka.
See
Yes,
ya.
bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
See ya.
And yes, Muktesh bhai is gone, but we'll continue the chat obviously. अब I know. By the way, UEL का बात करते हैं ना, यूरोपा लीग में. I actually have a strong feeling कि it'll be Leipzig against Barcelona. I know Leipzig got a bye against Spartak Moscow, लेकिन Leipzig and Barcelona as in very two good teams who like to play football. Leipzig have what great players. Nkunku है, Forsberg है. I actually would love that to happen. And I can see. I think with Sadiq bhai,
Sobozla
West
is
Ham,
out of
yeah.
form this season. Sobozla is a very good player, but he's out of form this season.
Yeah, he's out of form exactly. But like, I have a strange feeling that is what it'll go happen because Atlanta बहुत ही kind of I know defense इतना अच्छा नहीं है उनका, and recently even more so. Great, Malinowski is superb, and so is I think Luis Muriel. But still, I feel that it'll be Leipzig. That's my gut feel anyway. Gut feel, okay, that's about it, right? But again, a lot of people. Let me take some comments quickly. Sadiq bhai and all panelists, please answer if India become top economy. यार ये भाई ये कहाँ से आ गया? Can India make A League which is bigger than? यार क्यों नहीं? Of course, yes is the answer. Absolutely, I'm sure you would agree, right? As in, come on, we would want Asian countries to basically prosper more and more, and that's what we are for. हम as in even in the
I mean,
Eastern
it's not
community
just
always.
dependent on the economy. It's more dependent on who are the people running football.
Running it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there are much smaller economies with a much better football setup than India and the rest of the subcontinent, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
So I think this one Dhenuka से पूछूंगा क्योंकि सादिक भाई आपसे बहुत डिस्कशन हो गई है इस बारे में. Like Sergio Busquets, that profile of player. I think me and Sadiq bhai have been thinking about Rodri being one option. Probably, I'm not sure there's a like-for-like replacement apart from him. So is there anyone in world football? Declan Rice is more like as in he drives with the ball, no? So anyone that maybe that Real Madrid, I'm sure will not go to Barca, but should Barca change their tactic, go with the two with the as in midfield? What do you think should be Barca's future? Because Busquets is getting old, right?
Yep. Well, Busquets definitely not, but they. I don't know. I think. I don't know. I don't know if Rice is a good replacement, to be very honest. And I think Madrid were also considering Rice at one point. या फिर rumors थे पता नहीं, but I don't think he's coming to Madrid for sure. I
नापोली
don't
का भी
think.
प्लेयर था ना कोई सादिक भाई नापोली आई थिंक इट इज Fabian Ruiz is it he is the person who was linked as well recently.
Fabian Ruiz had a little bit of a link. Frank Cassie is coming, but he's not a Busquets replacement. He's a
Exactly,
number 8.
he's
He's a
yeah.
different profile of player. But I think Fabian Ruiz, there were some links made, but then again, Fabian Ruiz is also not that profile per se. As I had said, there is one player that other than Rodri who fits that profile to some extent, who can play that lone pivot with that ball playing skill is the Monaco midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni. But
हाँ,
Who
again,
सब लोग
he
को
is
is
चाहिए ना
Real Madrid targets?
सब लोग
Hands
को
off.
चाहिए
Hands off.
ये हम तीनों को चाहिए चौमनी और
चौमेनी
मैन
हमारा
यूनाइटेड भी
है.
वेट कर रही है अरे भाई टू मच है लेकिन मैं फिर भी आई नो ही इज एब्सोल्युटली ब्रिलियंट ही रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ अ यंग ओबी मिकेल यू नो ओबी मिकेल जब एकदम यंग था ना व्हेन ही कुड एक्चुअली प्ले अ लॉट ऑफ फुटबॉल जोसेफ मूरिन्हो एक्चुअली स्टाइफल्ड दैट as much as he got the good out of him as well लेकिन हाँ
well,
I
actually
don't know
क्या है
it's
इस सिस्टम में ना जावी का जो सिस्टम है जावी फॉलोज दैट 94 द बासा दैट आई फर्स्ट सॉ दैट 96 97 बासा उसका स्टाइल खेलना चाहते हैं तो उसमें जो बुस्केट्स का पोजीशन है ना इवन बुस्केट्स डज नॉट फिट दैट pivot position the
Correct.
way it is supposed to be played. I think you will remember, I think you must have seen Pep play, right, Dhenuka?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pep
Yeah.
the player, I mean people don't realize Pep the player is far superior than Pep the coach. The position Pep played, he was a classic orchestrator. मतलब आप हर player drop कर देते थे. The only player who was not dropped in that team was Pep till he retired. I mean till he left Barca and went to Roma for that one season or two. So how do I classify Pep's style? He was a mix between what Busquets and Andrea Pirlo do. He was a regista and orchestrator at the same time. He was that good in that midfield. तो उस क्वालिटी का प्लेयर तो नहीं है तो the only alternative is you have to shift to a double pivot or like a or what I call is like a floating pivot. If you're building from the left, the right pivot moves into that single pivot role and takes the pivot, and if you're building from the right, the left side midfielder takes that role.
yeah
Something
I
similar to
again
what
Yeah, I have to kind of say this again. Like आप comment देख ही रहे हो. Again, subscribe doesn't cost you. Again, people जो लोग देख रहे हैं, in case you don't know, I have to kind of mention that for sure. It doesn't cost you. It's just the press of a button. Yes, of course, we are accepting super chats and whatnot, but that's totally up to you. It's about discussing football. आप सब्सक्राइब करोगे तो आपको बेसिकली रिमाइंडर आएगा. We'll have lots of discussions throughout the Champions League, throughout the Premier League. We cover a lot of stuff. Like I think Sadiq bhai would probably say that as well. He's here almost every second week, and that's something that we love discussing. But hopefully, we'll have Dhenuka again lots as well. Like Dhenuka, I think I have to speak about this Real Madrid as in the conundrum, right? एक है Benzema, different level. I would again people taking the poll, take that poll because मेरे लिए Benzema is arguably one of the best in the world right now, as in all things considered, right? Benzema and Vinicius Junior, absolutely fantastic. Lekin apart from those two, I know against PSG, बहुत लोग missing थे. I think Mendy was missing. Valverde stepped in for I think Casemiro, but Benzema, Vinicius are probably irreplaceable at the kind of form they are in. But apart from those two, is there any other player जो आपको लगता है यार Real Madrid we need him, and this is basically something that we have to have against Barcelona.
So you mean in the current squad, right?
Yeah, as an indispensable. Who's that indispensable player apart from Benzema and Vinicius Junior?
According to me, Modric. I think Modric, and I would say, so let's say, defense mein yaar, we need all of them. That's the thing. But I think one thing is that when Modric clicks, right, uh, the game when he's allowed to play his natural game, it's a very different Madrid because he completes the match. He actually orchestrates the entire midfield and he takes the pressure off. He actually takes the pressure off Vinny and Benzema, and it's a fluid game then when Modric is in his element for Madrid. So I think like having Modric in his element is very important. And that's the thing with this Real Madrid team, right? You need several people to orchestrate all of those things. So you could see that he was not able to do that in the first half against PSG. And but as soon as Rodrigo and Camavinga came on, they took off Asensio, and you could see that the pace changed, and Modric could play his natural game and he could create chances, and he was like, it eased that pressure off of him where he had to perform defensively as well. So I think that we need Camavinga for that now. And
Yeah.
Valverde is, I think again, Camavinga and Valverde give you that fresh burst of pace, and they are much needed against a team like PSG, and I would also think against Chelsea. So
So against Barca, but would you play Valverde at right wing because Rodrigo is not fit, right? I think that's what you're leading to, basically.
Rodrigo is fit, I think. Rodrigo
अच्छा
is
fit है
fit.
क्या?
He
Okay.
just, वो against Mallorca, Mendy, Rodrigo, Benzema were all like injured at the end of the match, and
Yeah.
Camavinga was limping. But out of that lot, apparently Rodrigo got like hit really badly. It was a hard knock or something, is what Carlo said in his press conference. So he's fine. He seems to be okay. It was just a really bad knock. The only
Yeah.
one who is not probably not going to play is Benzema. So
Bench पे
and
तो
I
I think he hopefully will be there for Madrid. I'm pretty sure
for
नहीं.
Benzema,
Yeah,
I
नहीं.
honestly think he's going to be rested for this, even if he's
Wow.
yeah, I don't think he's going to be called, because I think in one of his pressers, Carlo also said that um, we came off of PSG and we are going into the Clasico, but we have like another game. They're looking at the UCL, because here there is a 10-point cushion, right? Like there's a gap. So I think this is probably the only
Getting ready
time
for
where,
Chelsea. Oh my God.
yeah,
You
this
better
is
be careful.
probably
Better be
the
careful.
only time where I think another fixture is taking precedence over the Clasico, to be very
Yeah.
honest.
So
So it was
possibly Benzema
doubtful.
will be missing the Clasico.
What was it?
I mean,
Sorry?
possibly Benzema will miss the Clasico.
Yeah, I think he's going to miss sit out.
Wow.
And there were reports of Mariano being called up. I don't know what Carlo
Yeah, I think
is doing.
TCSB also mentioned in the chat. लेकिन हाँ जो भी मैड्रिड फैंस है स्पेशली आप अपने प्रेफर्ड 11 डालिए कमेंट विद योर प्रेफर्ड 11 फॉर द एल क्लासिको गेम एंड आई टेक दिस कमेंट क्विकली. अमन गुप्ता, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू फॉर कमेंटिंग, थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग ऑन. अंकित भाई, शोभित भाई को बुलाओ, रिप्रेजेंटिंग बारसा फैंस. शोभित भाई वाज हियर. हमने 2 दिन पहले, एक्चुअली लास्ट 3 दिन से हम बारसा की बातें कर रहे हैं, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. Literally we have got AKG in the house was here. Shobit bhai was in the house. Obviously आज Muktesh bhai, Sadiq bhai is there. Sadiq bhai was yesterday. Despite being on a trivia, मैंने तो यार बारसा के questions भी पूछे उनसे. So that is how we have done. So we do cover a lot of stuff. लेकिन हाँ, Shobit bhai, big up यार. In Indian football he covers. He's a legend. And we had actually covered, and we are planning to cover as well. So hopefully he'll be coming back very soon. यहाँ पर कुछ और comment लेते quickly. Valverde and Camavinga difference after substitution. Yes, absolutely. Like Dhenuka was saying, Dhenuka, big up to you. Absolutely. Love her interviews for sure. Well, this one, Dhenuka ji, your all-time favorite Madrid player and why?
This is a dead giveaway to my age now. Raul
Hey, come
Gonzalez.
on.
And
That is young. I was thinking you will probably go, way back. I was thinking you're going to say basically, one of the earlier ones even. Like, Rahul is like, come on, he was here, what? When did he retire? He was here, what?
Raul in
17
from
years?
2011.
Real Madrid. Sorry. What?
I think 2011 he retired at Schalke. I think Schalke is
Oh, 2011,
Porto.
okay.
No, he went to Al Sadd. After that, he was with
Okay.
New York. Like, I don't know what you're considering as retirement. Like, he went
हाँ
to Al
मतलब
Sadd,
proper
and then
retirement.
He finished. Yeah.
Okay,
he
okay.
was with New York. Yeah. So anyway,
Right.
so he went to the US after that, and then he retired. But he was in Schalke after Madrid. Yeah. But I
Rahul,
started watching around like 98, 2000. So
हम
Rahul is
हम
my
तीनों
favorite.
सेम ही थाली के
So
चटनी पे
Rahul
थे.
is nahin, so
Nothing like
Rahul
that.
is my favorite player, because I always get that thing saying ki Rahul. So yeah,
मेरा
so
तो और भी थोड़ा
Rahul.
मतलब my honest Real Madrid अगर जब मैंने देखना है तो I saw that team because of Fernando Hierro.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
brilliant.
Because I
What
used
a leader. What a
I
leader.
used to play as a centre back in school, at 10, 11, 12-year-old, मतलब learning to play the ropes of centre back. So Fernando Hierro was, I mean, although I was a Barca fan since then, but Hierro
Hierro
was
is
here.
something else. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So and again, that's the thing. Like that team, like Rahul also played with so many Galacticos, but I don't know. Like everybody has a favorite minus.
My first exposure to Real Madrid was Hierro, Mijatovic, Suker,
Okay, yeah.
I had a thing for
Makalele.
Guti.
Even
Guti was one of my
Sidor.
as in players. Guti was like something he had it in. Ek tha Guti, na Guti. He had it. He had
Jose
something,
Maria
some edge
Guti.
stuff. Exactly. He had some
But
edge
वही
to
है
it.
today. So I was chatting before this, and again, Guti का यही है कि he was consistency was an issue. It was very frustrating to watch Guti as a Real Madrid player because he was really good on his day. He was really good, but then there were those moments when you would be like, "What are you doing?" Like it used to be really frustrating with him. So
Absolutely.
consistency was a thing, but on his day and his play was beautiful. Really loved.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But Hero is
Yeah.
like love.
Comments में basically बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं Gravenberch. I think again me and Sadiq have discussed lots. Gravenberch is not your as in Busquets. Far from him. He can
Really.
basically be in a two-man midfield, three-man midfield, but he cannot be your lone guy who distributes.
Gravenberch ideally जिस midfielder का replacement है, that is Luka Modric, the one that he fits the play profile, not the skill level or the talent level at this moment because
Yeah, the
he's
play
very young.
profile.
He's 19, 20 years old barely.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
but his player profile is similar to that of a Luka Modric.
Role, yeah, exactly. Role wise, that is what he's going to do. But I think Chouamani and Gravenberch, good one. How was Gullit? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I loved him. For me, like being a Dutch fan and a Chelsea fan, he kind of fits the bill. Lekin, absolutely one of the first players who got Chelsea actually to the next level in terms of attracting a lot of players. So I too loved him absolutely. You know, he was next level. You would say. But Mbappe done Real Madrid. यार लोग बोल रहे चौमनी डन एम्बापे डन पता नहीं यार मतलब देयर आर रूमर्स गोइंग अराउंड
Chomini नहीं मैंने बोला. I'm just saying that every day I'm reading something like Chomini is like they're having talks ये वो करके, and we also need like a Casemiro replacement. Although we can't really have a Casemiro replacement, but still we need a DM. So
exactly. Anyway, coming back to the game now, Sadiq bhai, like again, I don't know what starting 11 would you go with for Barca? Real Madrid की बात हो गई. Any major changes you think like it's pretty obvious pick themselves? What is your tactics?
Well, it will start in a formation of a 4-3-3 with, but as I said, transitionally we will keep shifting Alba and Alves in different positions.
one
I mean,
question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Is Dest? Is he was injured, right?
Yeah.
Last
yeah,
night.
he's out
Is
for
he?
2 weeks. He's out for 15 days at least.
वो तो blessing in disguise हो गई ना. I know nothing against Dest.
No. I mean, yeah, I'm not an evil man, so I mean, I don't want to.
Honestly, playing Guest defensively on our right wing against Vinicius Junior would give me nightmares.
But he was so good yesterday. I only saw him like yesterday.
Right wing, he was good going up, but if you saw him defend a couple of times, he was being turned around. I mean, people say he was good. I mean, he was tracking back to Aktoglu, but
Right.
you know his turnaround pace or like his turnaround ability on the right wing defensively. That is not. I mean, that doesn't give you confidence. If
Yeah,
he's
you guys.
good on a day, he will be able to do it. Other days, he will be turned around completely.
Yeah, but लेकिन यार कुछ तो मिसिंग है because देखो यार I know Barca has been a transition phase अभी काफी मतलब महीनों से बोल रहा हूँ सालों से almost considering what Real Madrid has done last couple of years में लेकिन still what last 5 I think El-Clasico Real Madrid has beaten Barca. I know recent 2 games तो काफी close थे, one went to extra time. Super Copa was kind of I know Valverde became the hero. Modric played great. 2-1 था उसके पहले लेकिन फिर भी technically 5 games on the trot. So बारसा में क्या मिसिंग है आपको क्या लगता है सादिक भाई लेकिन देयर इज समथिंग दैट रियल मैड्रिड हैज मोर देन बारसा मोर देन जस्ट द एज ना
पिछले देखो Barca whenever they have got the upper hand on Real Madrid, it's not just been it's not just been the transcendent talents that they have had on the pitch. Rather, it's also been the system. When the system is very effective. पिछले 2 साल में the system was not the Barca system as such. It was more reliant on one player's absolute brilliance, and that was Lionel Messi. The first Clasico this season that we played, that team was playing Ronald Koeman's system, which again, I'm surprised because Ronald Koeman is an OG cooler from that Cruyffian philosophy and everything. But the way he coaches and the teams that he has coached so far, none of them play in that style. So,
Yeah.
That style again did not fit the players that we had, because these players are sort of ingrained that positional style of play since childhood. Whether you play it direct or you play it in a slow build up manner, how Pep used to play, the key to it is you have players who are adept at playing in multiple positions. वो एक टाइम पे बहुत सारी positions खेल लेते हैं. आप देखो जब गावी को आप लेफ्ट विंग पे स्टार्ट कराते हो तो गावी ट्रांजिशंस इनटू अ सेंट्रल अटैकिंग मिडफील्ड पोजीशन. Ferran Torres from inside moves outwards to the left wing. Gavi keeps going up and Pedri keeps going up and down. Frankie transitions into auxiliary centre back sometimes to form a back three. तो that intricate movement, अगर आप लेफ्ट विंग हमारा देखो ना, बहुत डायनामिक चलता है. You will never know who will be the last person with the ball in the box. At most time from the left. And similarly, when we play Dembele on the right, with a Dani Alves, with a Pedri, you don't know who's the last person who's going to take the shot. So it's that fluid a style. Now that fluid style was ingrained when Xavi came in, and it took him obviously the first couple of matches. I think we even bottled a 3-0 lead against Celta Vigo, and we ended up drawing that match 3-3. So it took him that first couple of months. Plus, he needed in the attacking third, he needed those players who could play those roles. Dembele came back from injury. We added Ferran Torres there. And the best number 9 that you can have in Xavi's system is a playmaking number 9. But if you don't have a playmaking number 9, a direct attacking number 9 with the feet, not with the hand. Not a target man type, but more of, say, a pressing forward position, which Aubameyang can do, fits really well in that system. So once we got those reinforcements in the winter, so we got the right players. Still, this is a developing system because our defense is still not sorted out. Probably after this summer window, we might sort out certain aspects of the defense. And then the most important piece of this puzzle will be that central pivot position, which we have to work on in the next year or so that we can then sort of take the load off Sergio Busquets and transition into this new team.
Yeah,
so for me, the starting lineup would be Piqué, Araujo, Dani Alves, Jordi Alba. I would go with the midfield of Sergio Busquets, Frankie de Jong, because he gives us more defensive work rate as compared to Gavi, and Pedri. Ferran Torres definitely as one of the front three. Aubameyang is in excellent form, so I would not want to drop him, and I would get Dembele. In the second half, I may just say take off Aubameyang, shift Ferran in the middle, and get Gavi on the left flank to add even more dynamism in the middle of, all over the pitch. Over the pitch to add more dynamism and more pressing ability. Because if you see, one thing that bothered Real Madrid in that first game against PSG was PSG's press, especially the old school midfield of Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric. Press, they were excellent press-resistant players at their peak. But at this moment, other than Modric, Kroos and Casemiro can be bothered if you press them consistently and in a proper manner. That's why for me, the biggest fear is getting Camavinga and Valverde. Because if you see the last El-Clasico in the Supercopa, once you got Valverde in, because the second half when Pedri came on, I was surprised to see Pedri at times outplaying the likes of a Luka Modric at that level.
Basically, you need double protection, right? As a Real Madrid fan, that's what you would say.
You need people who can counter press. Yes. Casemiro and Kroos cannot counter press. If Barca presses, takes the ball away, Camavinga and Valverde will not sit back with the midfield. They will again counter press them. So you need to bother that. You need to bother that Barcelona midfield and front three. And then once you counter press and win the ball, you need to immediately release it out onto the wings where we are the most vulnerable. Center of the defense क्या होता है? Barca narrow कर लेता है अपना defense और center बचा लेता है किसी तरीके से, barring, because even in the last Clasico, the only attack through the center that Real Madrid got was that one mistake by Sergio Busquets when Benzema won the ball back.
Yeah.
So, I would go with that lineup as I mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely great. And again, I have a few comments that I need to take. Yeah, Vinicius Junior is in the house. Welcome, Vinicius Junior. Very much in form. Like I said, मैं बोला Vinicius Junior और Benzema among the top 5 in the world right now. और आगे Vinicius Junior. Like, come on, yeah. Same thing. Like, Chelsea is the main game. I hear that. I hear that for sure. That's something that I'm pretty much ready for. Abhi the game is on. We'll certainly see that. And यहाँ पर एक और आया comment. Newcastle Ultra, thanks a lot again for joining. But again, he says please make video on Premier League relegation battle and have a podcast. This effort, makes complete football cover. We absolutely do it, brother. I'm assuming it's brother, sorry. But yeah, check it out. Check out a playlist. We absolutely cover a lot of stuff. It's not just basically Chelsea, like I've been saying. It's a fan channel for all to see. We cover end-to-end football. Be it any news whatsoever. Check out a playlist. Take some time and check out a playlist. You'll find everything there. We have a lot of solo videos that we release as well. So press that bell notification icon. You will get notifications, and we'll certainly come back with more on that front as well for sure, right? I would have left the stream thinking she just entered her 20s. Okay, come on, like age doesn't define anything. Come on, Rajesh, that's not done. That's not done. But I get what you're meaning. It's a compliment, of course, that Dhenuka knows her stuff and she kind of has been there, done that. So that's what I'm sure Dhenuka would like to take it as, right? ये वाला कैसे
I'm here for it.
सैंड्रो टोनाली लाइक यार ले जाओ यार मेरे को जो भी प्लेयर अच्छा लगता है ना ले जाओ यार आप लास्ट स्ट्रीम में मैं बोला था सैंड्रो टोनाली इज माय फ्यूचर फॉर एसी मिलान अगेन आई हैव अ सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर फॉर एसी मिलान आई सेड दैट अबाउट सैंड्रो टोनाली और यहाँ पर कमेंट आ गया ले जाओ आप रीस जेम्स को ले जाओ सैंड्रो टोनाली को ले जाओ
टोनाली भी डबल पिवट में खेलता है ना अगेन विद दैट गाय कौन सा
ही इज मोर ऑफ अ क्रिएटर ही इज नॉट योर बुस्केट्स डेफिनेटली इज नॉट अ बुस्केट्स
उसके साथ खेलता है ना दूसरा एक डिफेंसिव मिडफील्डर है ना मिलान का
नहीं कैसी और यार नाम बोल रहा हूं यार
there's another one anyways
anyway your favorite Barca player अच्छा चलो आपका भी हो जाता है favorite Barca player
यार यहाँ पे ना there is one player that I mean the player I started watching football with was Ronaldo El Fenomeno when he was at Barca in that 96-97 season. So, I mean, to me, he is perhaps the greatest talent of all time.
In terms of ability, yes, absolutely.
But if you ask me for one day, if I want one player at the peak of his powers, is Ronaldinho in that 3-0 victory against Real Madrid. The day he got the standing ovation.
Standing ovation at the...
That is the peak of footballing ability I have seen.
अरे मुझे पूछो आप 4-2 हम जीते थे right we beat Barca and that goal he scored against Czech I when at home watching on TV I actually clapped I stood up and clapped for him like Ronaldinho was that guy and I think Ronaldo is brilliant because Ronaldo actually played for Real Madrid as well as in one of those players as in really who kind of had everything probably in Galacticos.
He is one player who's played on the other side of so many rivalries.
Milan also.
Milan derby.
Yeah.
He has played on each side of the El-Clasico. He has played on each side of the Brazilian Corinthians Flamengo rivalry. And yet, every club loves him.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of those... He's a sensational player. Like, you can't... There are people who are, like, there are Real Madrid legends and Barca legends. And then there are people who are just legends. They're too good for any club, and no matter where you go, because the talent is such that, and his play was so amazing that you could not hate him or anything. Like you had to. It was brilliant. Like watching him play was just amazing, and I would say that for Ronaldinho as well. Like, I was a Real Madrid fan.
To this day, as a Barca fan, I cannot forgive Luis Figo for shifting sides. I even don't like Michael Laudrup that much because he also shifted sides.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The one player I'm like, okay, go. You want to play at Madrid?
But वो direct भी नहीं था ना. It was not like he came
he
from
went to Milan. Yeah, he went to Inter first and then
Figo was not like that.
Behind him, I mean, it's such a romantic story with him that he just burst onto the scene, winning two winning two Footballer of the Year awards at 18, 19 years of age. Going through that World Cup final in 98 when he had just had a seizure, his career completely crashing for the next 4 years, coming back, scoring 8 goals in a World Cup, winning the World Cup and then going to Real Madrid. I mean, and then winning I think he won the Liga also in his first season itself, 2003 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he only didn't win a Champions League after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, different gravy. Yeah, by the way, that reminds me, I actually feel I'm proposing here, on the spot, like Sadiq bhai and Dhenuka and of course a couple of others that I've been speaking to. We need to do a podcast, of course, just about, as in the all-time best 11 and stuff like that. I have a lot of requests coming through, so we can probably, get through that maybe in the future, like if you guys are game, right? That'll be certainly interesting. because there's a lot of players that we need to really celebrate. Or who am I? आप देखे थे. We kind of celebrate players, and that's the whole idea of it. Like, just to kind of recollect some
So
of the
much
memories.
effort you put into that, man. It's
No, we have one
amazing.
more series. एक और है अपना last 20 years का. तो last 20 years because मैं 20 साल से follow कर रहा हूँ football, as in week in week out वाला football. तो in those last 20 years we picked the top 5. जैसे FA Cup का we did a video where we picked the 5 FA Cup comebacks in the last 20 years. So such kind of things, and I'm sure like you guys also know a lot. So बहुत interesting रहेगा to discuss on such topics. And I'm pretty sure people watching यार आप thumbs up दीजिए. Like कीजिए if you agree with that. And of course, like again, over 200 people watching. Come on, what are you doing? Waiting for? We've been speaking about so much on our channel, and yes, मैं advertisement दे रहा हूँ. But come on, that is part and parcel. आप अगर join करोगे ऐसी और discussions होने वाले, you have to subscribe. Subscribe करे बगैर और without pressing that bell notification icon, you will not be notified, and that's what it helps the channel as well. यहाँ पर Dhenuka talking about Ramos, like come on, you have to share something about Ramos. What do you feel about the Ramos saga? Like we felt about Hazard.
Yeah. I think the difference I think is that like okay, with Ramos, it was building up, to be honest. Like if you were following the news day in and day out, you sort of knew. And the I don't want to say excuses. See, I really miss him because how can you not? 16 years, he's a legend. He's the symbol of our club of modern times. So it's not, I would be lying if I said that I was not heartbroken when he left. And, at the time, it was just like, वो बोलते हैं ना, it was not sinking in at all that he was leaving. It was such a weird time, and then we hit that panic button because it was like, okay, Ramos has left, and then comes Varane's departure, that he is leaving, and then the club is not signing anyone. They signed Alaba, but then we were like, kahan khelega? There's one Alaba. Like, what are we doing? What is this plan? So from the disappointment and the sadness and everything, it moved to panic. And then another thing is that Ramos, for a very long time last season, was injured. So and he came to play in that one match for Spain, okay, one national match, which I was really irritated about. He didn't have to do that. He really didn't have to do that. And he came out and he played and he got injured again and he missed the key fixtures in the Champions League, where we could have used him. We would have needed him because I still think that I know that the defense was not the problem or whatever, and we struggled against Chelsea. But I do think that with Ramos out, like the strategy was different, and then Casemiro was like man marking, like whole like I would have wanted Ramos to be there for that match, and he didn't do that, and so I was irritated with him for that. But yeah, we just majorly lucked out in terms of Alaba and Militao this season. So
Militao,
so
तो I
yeah,
think last season में, I'll be honest,
tha.
when Chelsea
Yeah,
played Real Madrid, to
yeah,
me, like
yeah,
मैं तो मतलब I've gone on record, I have no qualms about saying it. Like it's about banter or little pulling
sure,
the gun.
yeah,
I said like Mason Mount had and Kante had everyone else in the pocket, at least for that match, right? लेकिन Militao एक बंदा था who really impressed me
correct.
in those two legs. So for me, वो
I
I know
agree.
it's just 2 matches, but I'm just saying like generally with La Liga में, I think that even in this group stage, he was the person who I think Baraya ko, he was the guy who kind of instigated,
For
who
sure.
got that red card. So he's got that. I think वो next leader बन सकता है Real Madrid के लिए, नहीं?
Absolutely. He has like very few off games, and even like the mistakes he makes, like it's negligible compared to how strong defensively he is, and he's really good. He's been fantastic this season, and he was fantastic. I agree with Chelsea last year in the Champions League. Uh, we lucked out in the sense कि see, you have a different pairing now suddenly, right? Like Militao hai, and you have Alaba with him, and Alaba, as everyone is saying, he's become like this. It looks like he's been a Madridista for years. Like he's been playing with Real Madrid for years, and he immediately clicked, and that is so important, right? And I think that has softened the blow a little bit, at least footballing wise. We didn't feel Ramos's sort of and interestingly, Militao scored like at least a couple of headers this season. So we were like, okay, we have Alaba
Finally,
for
right.
the Gundagardi, and we have
अरे वो
Militao for the.
कुर्सी उठा के जो celebration किया था ना, that was like epic celebration. But हाँ,
So he's
I think
he's
that
he's like that. He has that leadership quality in him, and even Militao. Militao also is like he's one of those. You can see that he's like there's good aggression.
चलो
Um,
अच्छा बात है. तो Rudiger is not going to Real Madrid. That's what I wanted to hear. I was actually leaning towards that. लेकिन Hierro better than Walter Samuel. Walter Samuel was very good for a couple of seasons, but consistency, I don't know. Like I would say Hierro was far better, नहीं?
Hero, oh my god,
Far,
yeah,
yeah, Hero was Ramos before Ramos, technically speaking.
yeah. Hero was another level, yeah, for
Because
sure.
that back two of Hierro and Andoni Zubizarreta for, I mean, they won how many? I think they won 3 Champions League as well before
Was it
Casillas
3 or
came
2?
in.
Yeah, before
No,
Casillas was the substitute keeper, no, in that
ah,
in the
in
one
that
in
2001, in the
Zidane,
2001 which
Leverkusen.
Simonelli won before he was not the
Yeah.
Zidane one, the one before Zidane. In the 2001, he was a substitute keeper.
But he came. Yeah, he was substituted in that game
Yeah.
in the final. Yeah.
Okay, Pedri, Gavi, De Jong, Nico, Barca midfield was straight 10 years from now. हाँ मतलब मुझे लगता है मतलब Barca they are building something really big. As long as they can keep modern footballers, you know, they no longer are a Puyol. Puyol was a one club man. I don't think वैसे मिलेंगे, लेकिन I think
I mean,
जो
Xavi technically was one club. He went to Qatar after like what,
हाँ
right?
मतलब
He smashed
वो भी
it.
you can
Insta
say.
China चला गया उधर, तो मतलब जापान चला गया, तो those were like
Those were like the Al Sadd and the.
because I said no, we don't want to play anywhere else in Europe. We don't want to come
Exactly.
up against Barcelona.
Yeah, comments ले रहे हैं हम ले रहे हैं. Of course, I need to respect the panel also. They are here to discuss football, and of course, आप questions पूछो certainly लेंगे. I've highlighted a few questions as well towards the end अगर time रहा तो. लेकिन again, yeah, there is an option. काफी सारे comments हैं. Again, to be very honest about it, एक तो आदत की बात हो जाती है ना. Like certainly with so many comments coming through, if you are highlighting the super chats, I'll be able to catch them early. लेकिन if not, like mods, please help me out. कोई mods है, कोई mod बनना चाह रहा है तो I'll be more than happy to make them a mod. Because that will help me, you know, kind of highlight those comments much more. Like, you know, I'll take comments as much as possible. And of course, I think Sadiq Bhai and, you know, Dhenuka here very much answering your questions from that time. Like, you know, koi hai specific, so definitely. Ramos is the best center back of all time. If you ask, most of the people will choose. I disagree strongly, Dhenuka, I have to say.
See, most people today on the internet are of that generation.
यार
Yeah,
मैं तेरी भी नहीं
I
बोलूंगा
agree
Paolo
with it.
Maldini.
Maldini is there. So yeah, but
Look,
the thing is, like,
Paolo
I
Maldini-
agree with what.
Wait,
How
there
many
isn't
people
a-
have seen Maldini? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I've seen Maldini. I mean, I've seen him as a left back also.
No, in the chat and like generally,
Exactly.
I'm saying like this the generation, right?
Exactly. I mean, Maldini, yeah, Franco Baresi. The discussion is between these two as the best center back of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Ramos's idol is Maldini, so that should say something.
Exactly. I mean, the word that Maldini said, "Ki if I have to tackle, that means I have not done my duty properly." And I think I've had to tackle very few times. The tackler in that duo was Alessandro Nesta. If you watch Nesta's highlights, you will see all those tackles here and there. But Maldini's highlights, you rarely see tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. Dhenuka, what's your take on Mbappe, Haaland saga? We briefly discussed on that. Lekin, as in again, do we need to sign both in the same summer? Will it not be difficult to fit both in team? Absolutely. We can have Mbappe and then focus on good right back. I think right back already Dhenuka has said about it. Left back, I don't know. Mendy is good, yeah? नहीं?
Yeah, Mendy is really good. Again, वही है कि replacement नहीं है unless we take someone from Castilla. So, but yeah, I agree that it's very difficult with Haaland. You know, with Mbappe, it's clear we need him. We are getting him done, whatever. But with Haaland, again, it's one of those tricky things where if we let go, do we let go? So to me, I'm okay if he comes and I'm okay if he doesn't come because I believe that Real Madrid can sign him another season. It's not like
Real Madrid
it's
can. Like, let's be honest.
done
If
and
any
sealed
club
deal.
can, it's probably Real Madrid. Because Galacticos is really Real Madrid and vice versa. वो होता है. We all know that.
And he's young. I mean, you know, for like a player transfer wise and everything, he's still young and he's not I mean, it's not one of those cases where 2 saal ke baad he'll be like, no, I'm not moving out of here or whatever. And things can obviously change in 2 years. Who knows? He's injury prone. I don't know what happens over there. If something like, we'll see how it goes. 2 years is a very long time. 1 or 2 years is a very long time. I believe that right now we have Benzema, but we really struggle when we don't have Benzema, and so we don't have a backup. Again, conundrum, because Haaland would not want to be a backup. So what do you do? If we are going to stick with Carlo, he's not someone who believes in this rotation wala thing. So what's
Exactly.
going to happen then? And then Haaland is not going to sit on the
But
bench.
he's a great man manager, right? Dhenuka, like that is
He
what Carlo
is.
is.
Absolutely, he is. He has the respect of the team. The team clicks really well. See, I know that Vinicius was really young under Zidane, but I believe it's also like he's received a lot of confidence from Carlo, and he's genuinely improved his game. And I'm not saying that Zidane didn't do that with him, and I genuinely feel that Vinicius was just really young at the time, and it takes time for players also to click and that one breakthrough season to happen. So I'm not saying that, but there is something about Carlo. He's a really great man manager, and you can see that the team respects him, and the team has an excellent rapport with him. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's yeah. So the rotation thing aside, and I know there are two parties to this, right? Because people keep saying that you say rotation, rotation, but then if you rest all these people, would you have this 10-point lead? Which is also fair, but even in the few opportunities that he has had to rest people, he has not done that, and that is where I disagree with his thing. And this whole refusal to start someone else over Asensio, and I don't know what is going on with Bale or Hazard, but like calling in Mariano now, you still have Bale and Hazard. I mean, it's not like Mariano is any like has done something to deserve that spot.
Exactly. I was like
So
wondering the same thing, right? As in he's वही like you said, he doesn't believe in rotation of late. That's what मुझे वही लग रहा है. That is probably the only thing. But again, big up Abhilash, yeah, thank you. चलो आपने शुरुआत तो की कहीं से, लेकिन Frankfurt is a tough opponent for Barca. I think Sadiq bhai has covered already, and we have covered the reasons also. अगर आपने miss किया first half of the stream, do check it out again. But I'll just take a few more comments quickly. Madrid always suffer versus small teams, so it'll be tough game this Sunday. Oh, come on. मैं तो आराम से पढ़ रहा था, फिर मुझे शॉक लगा
it
क्या पढ़
मुझे
रहा
भी 5 सेकंड लगा. Because I was like, wait, who are we playing? And then
people, I'm not a Madrid fan. Trust me, I'm not a Madrid fan. लेकिन I am a Hazard stan. Put it that way. लेकिन I love Barca of current season. I'll
as
be
all
diplomatic.
Chelsea fans are, man. I think, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then, so I actually मतलब मुझे इसलिए थोड़ा extra है, थोड़ा वही है, like we are discussing again about like when we started watching football. Zola, like I'm sure like you guys have also seen Zola. Like Zola towards the end, what he was in terms of the skill, the ability. I would still say Zola was better in terms of the skill. If he had kind of come to Chelsea earlier, बहुत ज़्यादा he would have become like he was a player of the century at that point. Again, I think that is the closest that Hazard or any player could get to Zola. Like that is what he reminded me. And again, now it might be left field. मैं बोलूँगा Kovacic being a midfielder reminds me of Hazard. The low center of gravity, the runs that he has, the turns that he has. Wow, I mean, terrific. Thank you, Dhenuka. Real Madrid. Really, Kovacic is a blessing. This guy is superb.
There
He's
are
going to
very
become
few
next
people, I
Modric.
think, like the people who got away, right? So one for me is Kovacic, and I think Real Madrid knew that when he was leaving, because it was surely one of those cases where we couldn't do anything. If he wanted to start, he wanted to start over Modric, and that was not going to happen. So yeah, we knew. Trust me, we knew when he was leaving. I knew he was one of the few that got away. Llorente,
Actually, few तो नहीं बोलूँगा यार. Come
Kovacic.
on, Marcos Alonso got away. Come on, the legend, Pablo Escobar. Thank God. Mata bhi, I think Real Madrid में था ना. He was also, I think, in Real
Mata?
Madrid setup. Yeah, one Mata initially was in the Real Madrid setup, very initially. So that was what it was. But लेकिन Sadiq bhai, Puyol यार, Puyol, your legend.
Hero.
Puyol or Hero? Okay, now here I'll be a bit biased because the one thing we don't realize about Carlos Puyol is that usually centre back position is considered to be a land of the giants. You have to be 6 feet and above to be one of those greats. And I think the only two centre backs of that caliber we have seen.
Cannavaro. Cannavaro.
Yeah, but Cannavaro was also 5'11", 6. I mean, he was in that 5'11" range. But Puyol and Baresi
He
had
looked much more. Sorry.
Yeah, because he played next to a Ramos and those guys. I mean, Zidane was 6'1". Ronaldo Fenomeno was 6 foot tall. So all those big guys were around him. But I feel Puyol and Baresi are the only ones who are less than 5'9". Puyol was barely 5'8". Baresi was like even shorter. He was 5'7", 5'8". Who have dominated at the centre back position. Because usually the centre back position is the land of the giants, basically, because you have those big strikers and everyone. I still remember very clearly there was, I think, Gary Lineker was on the 2009 Champions League final, United versus Barca. I think Gary Lineker was on the pre-game show, and usually the English, they are very, I mean, बहुत कंजूस होते हैं to praise any other country's defensive
True,
players,
true,
especially
absolutely.
Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic on the opposite side. And he was like, okay, United will definitely go into this with a very solid centre back position. And then the camera shifted to Carlos Puyol. Yeah, but we have to say that this man definitely knows about defense. So I was like, okay, if they are praising Carlos Puyol, he must be at some level of defense. And he definitely was. I mean, him and Rafa Marquez, people usually tend to underrate Rafa Marquez also, who was a very, very good defender.
Yeah,
So for
Rafael
me,
Marquez, I think.
Puyol or Hierro, it's a very close one. I mean, I will not call that one because Hierro I saw as a child and
The different players, na Sadiq bhai. But I know that in terms of leadership quality, they bought the same thing, but in terms of skills, they are different players. So I think you could probably have both in the team. I would say, like
well,
honestly
both
speaking.
together as a combination would be an excellent centre back pairing.
Yeah, exactly. But you cannot choose. Simply put,
You cannot
it's
choose.
a very very difficult kind of a thing. But absolutely, यहाँ पर Robin का नाम लिया किसी ने, and I think I would actually say Real Madrid, Chelsea, and then especially Chelsea, like काफी सारे players हैं where we have just let go, especially under Jose Mourinho. And then that was what we were. We were trying to make a dogged team. Or there are a lot of players that I would name, and I'm sure like Real Madrid also had. But again, the fact is. Maybe Chelsea का एक inspiration था in a way that we created that huge pool of players जो loan army थी, and that was in a way Real Madrid always had that, to be very honest. You had a huge pool of players and you had to let go some, and that was part and parcel of it. Tell
Robin,
something
it
about
was injury. I think like he was injured
exactly.
with Real Madrid. It was purely that, and then look, he went to Bayern, and we all know how that turned out.
Wow, that was different. But मैं तो यार मतलब I still like that is probably the one regret I have, and it always remain. मैं तो यार आज तक, trust me, even last week I DM'd him. I DM him literally every week that come on, like come to Chelsea in some form, take some kind of post whatever. But again, that's just me as a mad fan of Robin. But यहाँ पर एक question I think in terms of any player that could play any position. I think N'Golo Kante kind of fits the bill despite his height, I would say. 11 N'Golo Kantes or 11 Aspilicuetas, like Jose Mourinho said. But again, Chelsea bias. But any other player comes to mind? Any player who could fit any role in the team? Most versatile?
I mean, not at that level of Kante, but James Milner. He plays a lot of different positions.
Wow, Kante से मिलर कैसे जा सकते हैं? सादिक भाई, come on, Man United
नहीं,
fan
I'm
है
talking
तू.
about in terms of versatility. I mean, उसको
I
जहाँ तक
get your
चाहते
point.
करते थे. Full back पे, midfield में, wing पे.
Oh, by the way, people, big up to Green Turf. I don't know if you people know Green Turf. Trust me, if you don't know, you need to know. Probably he is the goat of YouTube, and I'm not even talking about YouTube football, YouTube Chelsea. He is the goat of YouTube. I have not seen कोई भी इतना मेहनत करता हो at YouTube, right? So big up Green Turf, brother. Thanks a lot. Helps. Yes, like Green Turf says. Come on, if Green Turf says, check out Green Turf on YouTube. You will get to know why I'm saying that. I don't use these words for anyone. जो देखते हैं मेरे stream, as Sadiq bhai knows that I don't use these words for anyone. Green Tough is that, and trust me, you need to check out, and of course, smash that like button, subscribe, comment, and share. Thanks a lot, brother. Hopefully, we'll have Green Tough next time. We'll discuss with him, and hopefully, we'll have those J's with Chelsea where we can discuss good things about Chelsea as well. आजकल थोड़ा बुरा चल रहा है form in terms of off the pitch thing, but absolutely great stuff. यहाँ पर काफी सारे comments हैं, but I don't know. We have spent almost an hour and a half. I don't know, panel. Do you have a few more minutes? Can we take a few comments?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to take a few comments. And by the way, yes, people do get in your predictions. By the way, we will finish with predictions. Getting your predictions for the El Clasico game that we are talking about for this Sunday. The main thing, of course, I wanted to get is the Chelsea Real Madrid, which we have covered. Like in El Clasico has been overshadowed by that. So do get in your predictions for sure. यहाँ पर player comparison भी करते हैं, right? Pirlo और Busquets, भाई साहब, come on, really?
Different profile, different profile.
Exactly. Come on. You can, Harshit, आप देखो यार पिर्लो का, जब पिर्लो, especially he was initial part, in AC Milan, then he went to Juventus, those kind of where how he transitioned, how he became like that ball player. He actually really developed his game. Busquets, he's probably one of the best in his position, like he kind of does in that itself. Pirlo could do a lot more. He's probably more comparable to Scholes, who could sit back. Sadiq bhai, would you say that?
I think Pirlo is more Scholes like.
Yeah, exactly. Pirlo,
Busquets,
exactly. That's
yeah.
what I mean.
Busquets is more Pep like, if you ask me. अगर किसी से मैं उसको compare करूँ.
Pep को interview किया गया ना कल, by the way. I think someone asked him like, how would you react if you were on the bench? He's like, first of all, you need to check how I played. I was never on the bench.
Exactly, that's the thing. I was never on the bench.
Yeah, as in
Listen,
they
someone.
had.
Sorry.
Yeah. Please go ahead. No, please go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Football Enthusiast has been all capsing about Schweinsteiger for a very long time. Let's.
Yeah,
So no,
let's
after
take
this,
it.
you can
Absolutely.
your thoughts on
Uh,
Schweinsteiger.
I actually
Definitely.
remember Schweinsteiger for me quickly, Rajiv, before your thoughts. Like again, when I used to play FIFA, no, he was one of the first players I transferred in. I don't know whatever be the reason. Uska naam tha Bastian Schweinsteiger. Sounds very classy or whatnot. It's like Bastian Schweinsteiger. So commentator bolta tha na. Like back in the day, I used to actually put him in. But yeah, he was great, right? Sadiq bhai, versatile. Would you say?
Very versatile. He could play anywhere over the midfield and the
Yeah.
wing. If you wanted in a pinch, he could even play as a winger. And I mean, people who have seen the 2006 World Cup, that was his coming out party.
Yes.
I mean,
Him
and
closer.
me and my cousin, we used to a lot of our photographs in those days where we used to mimic the celebration. Him and Podolski used to go. Used to go
Podolski.
fold their hands and back to back. I was like, it was amazing, that celebration. I mean, it just got to you for some reason. I mean, the way they used to do it, it was like they just scored a goal and you can't do anything about it.
Right. Okay. So Harshit actually corrects it. I know both are different players, but I wanted to know who had a better career. Okay, fair enough. As in, I think Harshit, you were asking about, I think, was it Pirlo and Busquets?
Pirlo
That was the
and
question?
Busquets. Yeah.
Busquets.
Busquets. Okay, interesting. थोड़ा bias है वहाँ, Sadiq भाई?
I would say both have had fairly equal careers at the club level, because Pirlo, I mean, has won almost similar number of accolades in Italy as Busquets has done in Spain. The one thing that possibly gets Busquets the nod is the international career that Busquets has had.
Yeah.
Pirlo won the World Cup, but Busquets has won those 3 trophies. Obviously, his team was way better than what Pirlo played with. So,
As in, मतलब only argument, like again, maybe I was an AC Milan fan, as well, right? So मैं मतलब maybe biased है, subconsciously, लेकिन Pirlo could dictate games. You know what I mean? As in,
I agree.
game was running on Pirlo. As in, he actually used to change games. Busquets, without Busquets, the team couldn't function. So both are kind of, as in, you can certainly,
I don't think
argue
so.
for both.
I don't think so, because
Yeah.
imagine Yaya Toure was let go because Barca got Busquets.
Yeah. Very, very good point.
I mean, when you can get a player like Yaya Toure off when you're just 22 years old.
Yeah, and he was a CDM at the time. Correct.
He was a CDM at the time. And Yaya Toure was we all know what quality of a player he was. And Xavi became a much better player after the arrival of Busquets, because prior to Busquets' arrival, Xavi tend to play that sort of deep playmaker role along with Yaya Toure.
Mm-hmm.
So the style completely changed, and it allowed Xavi and Iniesta a whole lot more freedom with Busquets there.
Yeah. Well said, absolutely. And यहाँ पर यार मैं बोलती बंद कर देता हूँ 2 मिनट के लिए. They want neutral choice. Gerrard or Lampard, याद रखना, you're an almighty Blues FC. Definitely, I want the neutral choice for sure.
Dhenuka, your opinion on this one?
No, go for it. I'm no, go for it first. I want to hear
ये
yours.
क्या हो गया? नहीं.
Yeah, देखो, as a goal scorer, no doubt, Lampard far superior than Gerrard. But the overall leadership that Gerrard brought, especially in that Liverpool team, which completely lacked a defense. I mean, for a long time, the only defender of any note they had was Jamie Carragher, playing with school. I mean, okay, Sami Hyypiä was a decent defender, Daniel Agger was a decent, but come on, you cannot compare to the defenses they were up against. A John Terry, Ricardo Calvario pairing, or a Rio Ferdinand Nemanja Vidic pairing. So, and Steven Gerrard was, uh, Frank Lampard to me was, I define great players either whether they are trucks or they're trailers. A truck would pull the team along with it. A trailer would join a big team and go and just push it on further. So Frank Lampard had more trailer than truck in him.
He helped
Because
us
the
get
real
to the next level.
yes, because the real leaders on that team were John Terry and Didier Drogba.
Yeah, I agree.
Frank
Actually,
Lampard had that leadership ability, but not that level. Steven Gerrard had to do everything
Yeah,
in that
agreed.
team. So,
Agreed.
on an individual basis, Gerrard a tad higher than Frank Lampard. But if you ask about team success and an overall career, definitely Frank Lampard, because he played in that good a team, had a better
Yeah.
career. But as a player, man oh man, Gerrard a tad higher than Frank Lampard. Sorry, Ankit bhai.
Chalo. No, it's okay. I will take that with a pinch of salt. I'm taking that. I have a lot of input there. Like, pura raat chal jayega. I will be talking. And
So
this
I
is
pretty much
never
had the same thing. Okay, so I was thinking if he's going to go with Lampard, it will soften the blow. So इसलिए मैंने बोला पहले जाओ because I was gonna frame.
चलो फिर तो और भी यार और भी thank you that's all I can say but exactly Bastian Schweinsteiger is a player with most distance covered in a single match with 15 point something kilometers. Okay, interesting that you can't compare Pirlo with Busquets exactly, but yeah, the question wasn't that, I believe so. And speaking about the best player who left Madrid and become star in another team, come on, any football lover knows it's Samuel Eto'o. You are saying it, Mata, come on, yeah.
Oh,
No, that's not
Bhai,
what they said.
I didn't say that he's the best player ever to leave Madrid. He is one of the players who left Madrid at a very early age, who also left Chelsea at the time that he probably shouldn't have been, let go. And he's actually not become the player hum sab chahte the. He's not become. That is what I meant. But certain players take that to the next level. And Samuel Eto'o, yeah, he's a legend.
Well, I feel the biggest Madrid to Chelsea export, and possibly, in my opinion, the biggest mistake that Madrid ever did was Claude Makalele.
Man, yeah.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the
I
head.
mean, he was the engine in that
Absolutely.
Galacticos team. I mean, had you kept Makalele, there was
My
3 Champions
goodness.
League more there for you.
Yeah.
Zidane bola tha na, literally. Zidane went on record. He actually, right after the transfer, he made a statement, and exactly what
Yeah.
Sadiq boy said.
And it is like I think every Madridista will agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
It was that
I mean,
the
That was
misunderstanding.
the best. I think that was the best transfer ever in Barca's history in that time.
Yeah, Makelele
yeah.
was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, so people, again, I've been spending a lot of time taking the questions. Hopefully, we get to more questions the next time around. I've started a few more questions here. I'm not sure if it'll. Guti also had to, by the way, big up to Madrid pundits. Guti also had to switch positions to stay in the side of the Galacticos. So that is the thing. I think one player who actually switched positions and did very well was world class. We spoke about Schweinsteiger. Very surprising. No one has spoken about Clarence Seedorf. Clarence Seedorf was a person
Again.
who could play anywhere. Trust me, this guy was one of them for me. Like again, maybe AC Milan soft bias, I can say, but he was actually that player. He was having records also, right? As an only player to have won Champions League, multiple number of Champions League or something like that.
He has won 3 Champions League with 3 different clubs.
3 different
Ajax,
clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, Ajax, Madrid and Milan. और मैं बोला भी था ना आपको, उस दिन याद है अंकित भाई, आपके मैंने एक कमेंट भी डाला था कि Modric tends to remind me a little bit.
Yeah,
Modric
exactly,
is
याद
like
है
a better version. Modric is like a better version of Clarence Seedorf at this moment.
Yeah, exactly, because he has that, a bit more in terms of the tenacity that he brings. Exactly, I agree with you. 4-2 win for Barca. Oh, बाप रे. 4-2 win for Barca.
नहीं
5 लगे तो यार एक्सट्रीम चल रहे हैं भाई साहब. Anyway, ले लेते हैं quickly score predictions. Dhenuka, what do you think?
Let's go with. I don't want to say 2-2. Yeah, I don't want to say a 2 also because I'm with no Benzema. It's going to be so tough. Yeah, Let's
Yeah, टेनिस का मैच भी
let's
शुरू हो गया, by the way, people.
6-9. Wow. Okay. Uh, I
Two legs
I
affair
really
है.
don't know this one. I can't. I usually like always do predictions. This one is very tough because I'm
It's
leaning
difficult.
towards a draw, but I really want Madrid to win this. But going with like no Benzema and the way things are going, I don't
So
know.
I'll take it as a draw. The way you're going. By the way, yeah, people, we are technically what, one like away from 300. We are one like away from 300, and we are unfortunately still 50 subscribers away from 1900. That was the target, so at least minimum target reach कर लीजिए सब लोग. Let's like the stream, let's subscribe. But what about your predictions, Sadiq bhai?
See, my predictions regarding matches have been all over the place this year, but I will still go ahead. Like, had Benzema and this one Rodrigo been completely fit, I would have gone for a 2-all draw. But knowing now that, say, possibly, I mean, if Benzema does not play, I'll go out on my shield and say a 2-1 win for Barca.
Wow, interesting. That'll make it interesting. I would really, hope that it's a high scoring game. It's got to be a high scoring game. Because the last few matches between the two sides have been high scoring. So I hope it's not a dull affair. We want high scoring. That's why probably 6-9 उससे बाहर थे, but वो कुछ ज़्यादा ही हो गया. Come on. Certainly that is a bit too much. I think यहाँ पर एक question आ रहा है बहुत बार सादिक भाई आपके लिए. But let me actually take the super chat first. I've started the other questions by the way. Although for a very short time, I feel R9 had one of the best seasons at Barca. Yeah, I think again Abhilash. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah,
I think Sadiq
we
bhai.
talk about Haaland and his numbers of those 70 some goals in 70 some games. Bhai,
R9.
R9 had like what 90 game his first 100 games he had like 90 plus goals, and he played for a PSV team against an Ajax that was winning Champions Leagues, and he played for a Barca in a La Liga where they had Real Madrid and a very decent Espanyol and Atletico and Valencia.
Yeah.
So he scored those goals. So, and he was 18 and 19 years old at that time. So those 3 seasons of his 94 to
Massive.
97.
When he burst onto that. Yeah. See.
Exactly. And by the way, great question this. But I think ये वाला question आते रह रहे हैं quickly. Sadiq bhai, can you please tell me about Gullit and Reichardt relationship? Wow.
Well, this is something that I've only read about because this was even beyond, I mean, before my time of watching football as well. But what I've read is that, they had a decent relationship. I mean, it was a troika, basically, the holy trinity the holy Dutch trinity, Van Basten, Gullit, and Rijkaard. I don't know why people tend to forget Van Basten because he was he was
Ultimate.
the elite talent amongst them.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
I was
Gullit and
hoping
Rijkaard,
Shevchenko will become the next Van Basten. Very similar in terms of
yes.
the technique.
I mean,
But
what Van Basten was, I don't think. I mean, if you go and watch nowadays on match replays, you have got full games of AC Milan of 89 and 90 available. People should go and watch that Van Basten play, and then you will realize what a striker is supposed to be.
yeah, absolutely. यहाँ पर last question for Dhenuka. Sadiq bhai, how do you feel when Messi and Ramos plays together at PSG?
As long as it's not against Madrid, I don't. It's fine.
I mean,
I mean, they're professionals.
Professionals.
They.
no,
Yeah, my only thing was it would have been really weird for me as a Madridista had Ramos played in this Champions League, but thankfully that didn't happen for emotional reasons more than anything. So, but they are professionals, and they. I mean, it's not like. They knew what they signed up for when they signed to play against PSG. So it's fine. It's not weird or anything. That whole thing that was coming out when the PSG draw, like when Real Madrid drew PSG, and they said that meme like thing where like Ramos goes to when Casemiro say like tackles Messi, and Ramos gets up and like out of habit goes to Messi and then realizes, no, wait, this is not the right side.
Oh,
So,
right. Of course. I think that was a lot of memes came out, right? When Ramos jab gaya tha, a lot of memes came out. Absolutely, like
when the PSG draw happened now, because that's the only situation where we would play, he would come face to face against Real Madrid. So, but otherwise, I don't. I mean, I saw the game where he played. For both of them played for PSG, and they are professionals. They don't. It doesn't. They're all playing for that team. So.
At the same time, ये भी बोलना चाहूँगा ऐसा नहीं कि they became best friends in day one.
No,
That
no,
doesn't
no.
happen. Exactly, like that. It takes time. Like that's what happens. Like वही है मतलब in
No,
cricket
and
also you a
they
lot of
won't
times see that.
be. It's one of those things, right? Like they won't be BFFs or whatever because their personalities are completely different, and it's not like you would see after last game when Messi was leaving. He like with Lucas Vasquez when he was going back. I think Mbappe and Benzema exchanged shirts, and you could see like Vasquez is one of those guys who like stand there and sort of greet players, and he knows and whatever. So Hakimi was there, and so he actually greeted Messi, and so they had like a brief handshake or whatever. But Ramos is not that guy, and he's not. That's not gonna magically change because he's in PSG. But like we were talking, they're professionals, so they're not gonna. It's not gonna affect the match on the field. But,
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, invalid question नहीं चलेंगे. Absolutely, यार Gattuso was a destroyer. Busquets is definitely someone like आप Busquets को गाली दे रहे हो बोलकर Gattuso was great in what he did and brought a lot of personality. Probably आप बोलोगे Ambrosini और Busquets फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत I can understand to some extent, but absolutely not Gattuso. And people like again like AC Milan का question है इसलिए I had to take it. Sorry about it. But again, a lot of questions. I know Dhenuka, you have been on multiple streams today. Sadiq bhai, you yourself have been on multiple streams. I've literally, as in, I don't know, I'm just going on and on. These guys are very polite and, very kind of humble enough to kind of stay for so long. Like there has to be an end point, right? And I think probably this has got to be it. And again, people are almost 150 people still watching. Thanks a lot. I know you've been very patient, waiting. इतने सारे questions हमने लिए, इतने सारे questions हमने skip किए. But like I said, there is a way to prioritize them. Let's get them. And again, people who want to kind of be mods, more than welcome. Do DM me. My socials are below, and do check out our playlist because it's not just these kind of conversations. This year to continue होते ही रहेगा, but we do watch alongs. We are doing already. We are doing a lot of other content like trivia. Like I said, we do special series that we have like top 5 etc. So do check it out. And any last words, Dhenuka?
for the Clasico for
Yeah, it's
Chelsea.
up to you. As in, why? I mean, you can just give it to Sadiq bhai. दे दो मतलब एक proper जवाब. That we are there, and of course Chelsea as well. We are next. So मैं बोलना नहीं चाहूँगा ऐसे.
हाँ नहीं see I to be very honest I expected कि when the way like Camavinga limped off and Mendy was injured and everybody was injured after that Mallorca game I was really scared because it looked really bad that game I think the refs just let it go on for way too long so I thought it was going to be worse than this the squad honestly so it doesn't seem to be that bad of a squad that we are starting with apart from Benzema we are starting with everyone else and it's going and Barca has picked up form as we all know and again they also have off matches but and Clasico mein I've always said this like form doesn't matter it doesn't matter even when wo transition Barca it was not like a rout so you can never say in a Clasico it's a completely different mentality it's anyone's game and it's how people end up playing on that day so इसके लिए we can analyze all we want but वो दिन का क्या है वो दिन ही पता चलेगा so let's see I'm actually happy that Madrid is actually fielding a good team and not it's Benzema which is a huge loss but it could have been worse so yeah it's going to be a good game I'm optimistic.
Absolutely, and lovely to have you, Dhenuka. Hopefully, हम और discussion करेंगे. We'll plan some streams, like interesting streams.
Yeah.
Like बहुत सारे questions है, and then it struck me. Okay, we probably need to discuss much more because yeah, these guys are not satisfied. अभी भी बहुत सारे questions आ रहे हैं on those comparisons. Best coach of all time. Like come on, I'm trying to start it so that future में जब भी करें ना podcast में याद रखो ये questions को and to come back on in future streams as well. अगर आप subscribe किए हो. And I think एक question आता काका की jersey यार हर एक stream में पूछते लोग. आज सच्चाई बता ही देता हूँ. Yes, I'm a huge Kaka fan, and that is why Kaka gave it to me. Kaka खुद आया और मुझे दिया अंकित ले लो भाई इतना fan है ही नहीं और finally I got it. That was a dream come true moment for me, and that is the fact. सच में अरे यार हंस रहे हो come on. Anyway, सादिक भाई last words come on.
नहीं लास्ट वर्ड्स तो बस ये कि एवरीवन एंजॉय द क्लासिको आई मीन ठीक है बैंटर चलता है अपनी जगह है बट थोड़ा सा ना जरा आराम से वो जो ठीक है ऐसा भी नहीं है कि बारसा अगर 4 गोल मार रही है तो रियल मैड्रिड को भी 4 गोल मार देंगे और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि अगर रियल मैड्रिड इज लीडिंग द लीग बाय 10 पॉइंट्स तो Barca is going to be a easy. I mean, it's going to be a cagey tough affair, and let's all hope for a very good match. Just one food for thought for Dhenuka. If by any chance Barca ends up winning this Clasico, and we know Sevilla is going through a bad patch of form, so I think they're probably going to drop off the second position, most likely. If Barca wins it, we have, I think, 10 games remaining with a 9-point gap between Barca and Madrid. And if we go by the history of the Liga in the last 9 points हो जाएगा क्योंकि Barca has a game in hand.
Oh, yeah, Barca has a game in hand. Correct.
It will be 12 on the table, but Barca has a game in hand. I'm counting that game, say, possibly as a win for Barca. If everything put together, it should be like, if we count that game in hand, it's a 9-point difference with, say, 9 games remaining. And having seen the history of the La Liga in the last 10 years, I think एक या दो दफा ऐसा हुआ है where a team that is led by many points has continued to lead by that many points. The leader in the last 10 years or so has sort of dropped points in 2 to 3 games within the last 9, and then the race has become very close. Like last year, at one moment, Atletico was 21 points ahead, and they won the league by a point. So if that happens, and say Real Madrid tends to drop points in any other game, will that not then increase the pressure on Madrid because they'll have Chelsea coming up in the Champions League as well?
Yeah, but I honestly think that with Madrid, they are more comfortable. Sort of the focus is right now more on Chelsea, to be very honest.
Oh my God!
So
Coming
that's
back to the same thing.
It's actually and I see
it's a
this
fact.
across. Okay, like everybody, fans included, everyone is more like it's okay, and I know, like it's also. I don't know where that mindset is coming from, but somehow it just feels like this year's Clasico has been upstaged by the Chelsea draw.
अरे मैं खुद स्ट्रीम का प्लान कर रहा था ना. Trust me, I contacted Dhenuka and I contacted, I think,
I
Sadiq
think
bhai
probably it's
and
that
Muktesh.
0-5 or 0-6 record that we have against you guys in the last 5 or 6 games.
See,
And with
and
the
to be honest, yeah, you guys have more to sort of. I think this Clasico is more like you guys have more to prove. I think for various reasons. See, your Barca is making the top 4. I think it's a given, and so that's not the thing. But still, going, like, looking at the immediate future also, like Barca has to win every game to stay competitive for any kind of, not just to give like the title a chance, but also generally like to sort of further that whole thing where like you have your rhythm going, and so now you need to sort of play convincingly well, and so look to win every match. That thing is there now for Barca, and not having the Champions League, I think there is a huge thing. Whereas for Real, the focus is on the Champions League this time around, to be honest. And the thinking is that it's okay, let's not play our best 11 against Barca, which is why I think even before this whole Benzema thing today, I still thought that Benzema was going to be rested for the Clasico after the knock he picked up, because he was not looking good. And no matter what they say that, the results are positive and this and that, I think they were going, finally they were being safe and saying that let's not risk Benzema, because with against Chelsea you have to have him. It's more like that one shot thing. Yahan pe gaya to gaya. Like there at least you have that cushion. So and I think it's at this stage it's not impossible, but you have to do something really wrong to sort of bottle this kind of a lead at this stage.
No, definitely.
So
Definitely.
I think, yeah, because we started closing in on the gap with Atletico last season pretty early on. It was
Yes.
not this late.
Yeah.
So given that, I think that Real would go a bit conservative against Barcelona, and they would actually go all guns blazing against Chelsea. So
No,
Barca
exactly.
actually have a
No, my
bigger
point was
chance.
that I was thinking that Real will bottom the league. But what I was thinking is that, if a couple of games in the league go against Real in this manner, including including the Clasico, will that then, sort of create a little bit of chaos in the camp with the Chelsea match coming in?
Oh,
That who do you have to rest, who do you have to play?
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't see that happening so much because I think the other teams get hit by this fatigue the same as us, and these are all the rest of the teams we are playing, right? They in La Liga it's always like that. Like when you start off, you have like Sociedad also this time, right? Like they were dominating, they were playing really well. All of these, they're like the like Sevilla and
Yeah,
Sevilla,
the
theek hai,
bench
till now
strength
they
and
sustain
quality cannot be there as
bench
compared to
strength, and
Madrid.
yeah, the fatigue factor sets in, and then they don't have that bench strength, and they don't sustain, basically they can't sustain that level of that form. So for me, I think Real Madrid has hit that uh, well now. They went through those two bad patches at like the right times, I think. And so given that in mind, now it's difficult, I think, that the other teams will cause upsets back to back for Real. So
True.
that's my thing. So I honestly don't see that happening. But like you said, who knows? We all thought that, and then but even
See,
when
that's
Carlo
just a
slipped up,
slight.
it was in Jan. I think this is like a slightly. I think we are a little ahead of all of those cases where the where things started going wrong for the team that was leading, was a little ahead in the game. It was around Jan after the winter break. Because Carvajal
True.
is
Yeah.
left winger.
PK,
Because
sorry,
Carvajal
यहाँ
is
पे
not.
PK is he actually unfit?
Yeah, I saw that comment too, that PK is not playing. Is that true?
फोटो देखा था एक दो, लेकिन I thought he's not
No,
injured per se.
I didn't read that anywhere. I
But
mean, none
he
of the
was
screens.
fine last game.
Yeah, last game he was fine. I think it was.
No, he got a knock. He got a knock during the game. There was actually a pick
Yeah,
that was going around.
but then he
Lekin
finished
again,
the
it
game.
wasn't an injury.
Yeah, he finished, right?
Yeah, he finished
Exactly.
the
It was
full
an
90 minutes.
impact injury is what it was.
You know,
Like, it
because
wasn't an injury.
I will be more worried if you are playing Eric Garcia.
Sorry. Sorry,
And you're
I'm
wanting
a, I'm
Christensen.
a
And you're wanting Christensen. Just
wanting
kidding.
me. That's done, no? That's as good as
अरे
done, I
नहीं
think.
यार, अभी भी that faint hope is always there because Chelsea what हुआ ना last 2 हफ्तों में, we need some major as an
Yeah,
inspiration.
I thought
Aspi.
the only player I'll be more than happy to take from Chelsea will be Aspilicueta.
And I think
Because
Aspi
that's
नहीं,
also done,
Aspi
right?
नहीं. नहीं Aspi has a एक clause था where if you
Also
play a
clause है,
certain number of
clause
games
trigger हो जाएगा.
that
Oh,
sets in. Yeah, one. लेकिन there is a controversy कि basically is it something that was an automatic clause or something that it was voluntarily, like he had to do it because that option was there with Giroud. With him, I don't think there was an option. Again, there's a report. अभी देखते हैं मतलब what comes out in the open because I don't know technically would he need to sign that, even that, right? So वो है तो Chelsea cannot sign players. So that will be
Yeah,
interesting.
but I've always been on record कि as much as I want Aspi at Barca, I mean I would love for Aspi to retire at Chelsea. I mean that's what he should
I love you,
retire at
Sadiq
Chelsea.
bhai. I love you, Sadiq bhai. Absolutely. लेकिन absolutely like he was training. But एक चीज मैं पूछना बोल रहा before ending the stream again, people like who here, I think Dhenuka does a lot of work as well. Of course, there is Bombay Penia. I think probably our viewers would like to know something about it. Dhenuka, if you can just tell them about it.
yeah, sure. So I'm one of the founders of Bombay Penya, and officially the president of Women's Affairs at Bombay Penya. And we are a Penya is basically a fan club that is recognized. There is a registration process, and we are recognized officially by Real Madrid, the club. So Bombay Penya was the first official Real Madrid Penya fan club in India. We have many such peñas, and under the umbrella of Madridismo India. So, if you're a Madridista, please join Bombay Peña. We would. It's like it's open to everyone, and if we conduct screenings and we conduct tournaments and all of those things. So, feel free. The handle is well, it's Bombay Peña,
I think
and
it's there
then
in the description. Check out the
okay,
description.
cool.
I have actually added that. So it's
Yeah.
there. Check out the description. पहले 2-3 लाइन में आपको मिल जाएगा. अब I know बहुत बड़ा description है, copy paste किया हुआ है, लेकिन I made sure that it's there. Certainly you will find it. And I think Dhenuka's I think handle is also there. So
Yeah,
worst case you can always contact or just
yeah.
contact me here. I'll help you out. And big up to Dominic. Again, talk about goats. He is the goat of YouTube, especially EPL fans and of course international football fans. Please follow anyone जिसने नहीं किया है. Please subscribe. Dominic Rich, big supporter of the channel as an kudos to him. He knows a lot of stuff, and hopefully, Dominic, brother, you'll be back. I know Man City are in that stage where I know it's kind of iffy, but I'm pretty sure you'll do well. Hopefully, we'll meet again. Who knows? We have to speak, and let's see. I know Dhenuka would like that because we have to beat Real Madrid first. But let's see if it is coming again. He was actually on the channel last season as well. We had a lot of fun, and I always go there. So great stuff. Do check out Dominic Rich FC. But yes, close to 2 hours. थैंक्स अ लॉट यार. मैं खुद थक गया हूँ. पता नहीं है धेनुका और सादिक भाई कहते नहीं थके. मैं सोचा अभी मैसेज आएगा, अभी मैसेज आ रहा है, मैं मैसेज करो. वो लोग बोले नहीं यार चल. दे आर लाइक ओके इग्नोरिंग इट. कम ऑन नो प्रॉब्लम. बट थैंक्स अ लॉट. हेल्प्स जब आप लोग सब हो ज्यादा इंटरेक्शन होता है. एंड अगेन डू सब्सक्राइब पीपल, क्योंकि नेक्स्ट टाइम आपको पता नहीं लगेगा जब मैं लाइव हूँ. डू सब्सक्राइब, डू प्रेस दैट बेल नोटिफिकेशन आइकॉन. Follow Dhenuka. The link is in the description below. And till next time, take care. All the best to Real Madrid, to Barcelona fans for El-Clasico, but of the Chelsea.
Thanks for having us.